bum, bum. My computer crashed. I was at the end of saying that I was going to look at something with y'all and be a reacty Andy for the start of the stream. And there is timestamps in the VOD description below. If you're here and watching the VOD later on, say hello. Nice to know you. But I have the old stream start put there with its timestamps in there. I also have what we're going to be doing right now, separately timestamped, for being very extra with our attribution today. So you can't stop me. Can't stop me from being cool. My computer blue screened on us, which if it does it again, let's see. I know what I've done recently, which is using an unlimited number of threads on my GPU. Oop. Yeah, it's warning me. Oops. It's failed to set up hardware acceleration. Oops. That's wild. Maybe it doesn't. Does it have it enabled? Did I do that? Because I usually have it off, but I had it on for some reason. I don't know what it was. I think it was something petty. Must have been something petty, honestly. It's usually something petty with me, so I'd believe it's something petty. Like, clearly it'll be a petty thing, right? Always. Always. Clearly and always. Where in the hell is the one setting that's like hardware acceleration inside of OBS in studio mode multi? I'm in general like a fucking goofball. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're turning off browser hardware source acceleration. It's not going to be allowed to restart right now. It might blow itself up again. I don't know. I'm kind of sorry. I need to find where I have StreamerBot installed, and we're going to launch that really fast, and we're going to be ready to go with stuff. Oh, I guess we do have Tint. Anywho's, I didn't want to platform this till I had time to like look over it some, because I don't, at the point that I was done looking at it, the person platforming the allegations initially didn't do their due diligence, and then there was like an attempt to seemingly blackmail the person that was trying to expose being mistreated by the people who were covering it and initially platforming it, to my understanding. So that's very messy. The person didn't want to come out, and then they were being pressured to under the auspice that they'd ruin someone else's credibility. So I didn't want to dive into this till we had a bit more, and I don't want us to go ahead and run with any of this yet. I'm just trying to be pretty clear, because I think we deserve better than to like assume shit. This is what I wanted to watch with y'all.
There's this YouTuber named SaberSpark, best known for his time making reviews of cartoons online. While he's had his fair share of haters for a while now, there were career-ruining allegations thrown his way in April 2025 that blew everything up beyond most people's imagination. A situation that was started off as just any other story quickly turned into one of the biggest shitfests I've seen in a good minute, with grudges spanning over a decade all
Yeah, and to my understanding, I just wanted to keep our hands off of this and watch. Like, quite honestly, it was looking quite nasty.
culminated in a campaign to end this guy's career online. Before we get into that, however, we must first take a small look into what exactly led to all this hate to begin with, and thankfully, it's not very hard to put together here at all. SaberSpark got his start online making My Little Pony videos as he was part of the Brony fandom in the early 2010s before moving.
You may remember there was a time that we were making a joke at the expense of bronies, and I really quickly like said, oh, at least one of them's beating the allegations this time. And I didn't want to like accidentally boost this shit without us having more to go off of. So I immediately tried to shut the fuck up the moment that thought crossed my head, just to be pretty safe, you know? I thought that would be the appropriate option. I'm not really sure what the appropriate option is, but again, we've just been like hands off on this shit while everyone else touches it and gets it all grubby. I'm trying this time just not platforming wild shit till we're able to look at it more. This is what I'm doing this time. I don't know.
Now to general cartoon stuff.
We're figuring stuff out.
This is relevant not only because it makes sense why he covers children's cartoons most of the time, but also because some of his detractors go at him for being a former brony because bronies are cringe. I know it's a rather stupid reason to dislike somebody, but that's the internet for you. And trust me, this brony connection is an important catalyst for this entire story. One of the more notable things that people have gone after Saber for involves his review of the children's cartoon Chipchilla back in December 2023. Now for those that don't know, Chipchilla is very clearly inspired by the popular Australian children's cartoon Bluey, and some people call it a ripoff trying to ride off its coattails. But the relevant part to our story here isn't a contention on whether it's a ripoff or simply inspired, but rather the creators of the show to begin with. You see, Chipchilla was created by BentKey, a video subscription service that focuses on that kind of expected kids content. Where things get shifty here is that BentKey was created by the Daily Wire, a conservative media company founded by Ben Shapiro and James Boring, with notable featured personalities being Shapiro himself and Matt Walsh among many other political conservatives. As you can guess, Saber and a lot of his fanbase are more liberal in nature, and so they would enjoy the video for what it was, as he spent a decent amount of time dogging on the belief that a bunch of conservatives are ripping off Bluey, hence the title of the video itself. The video honestly isn't even an issue, it was just like any other review coming from the lens of a liberal creator and audience, and by all means it was just another situation that one wouldn't think would lead to any controversy. Well, that's where things get a bit weird, as months before he dropped the video, Saber would make a tweet in October saying that he was struggling to cancel his subscription to BentKey because of how hard they made it. This would then turn into a controversy on how Saber Spark is a bad person because he gave money to a conservative company, with many people commenting their disappointment he would dare pay to watch a cartoon.
What? Okay, so at some point, if you're going to review something and be critical of it, you do have to watch it. Also, like, participating in, like, observing media doesn't make you necessarily, like, a supporter of the content of that media. This is, like, a thing that I really think stands out the most about the statements about anti-intellectualism, is that, like, there's just a surplus of times that people throw their hands up and say there's nothing to do when there's actually things to do.
Rather than just torrent it for free. He said he tried to but couldn't find a download link anywhere on Pirate Bay for that, and even another show on the roster he planned on reviewing, but people would find that just days earlier it was uploaded to Kim Cartoon, meaning he was either lying or missed out on the site. He would then say he doesn't want to get malware, meaning he doesn't trust the site, and people continue to complain about him buying access to the show rather than just illegally downloading it. Now this situation was very tame, all things considered, as all Saber did was the best he could in order to create the content he needed for the channel. Politics aside, the dude couldn't find a download to the show and so caved in and spent the money he needed to create the review he and his team had in mind. Anybody who thinks this is some sort of betrayal to their political party beliefs or that he's somehow an evil and bad person are either reactionary radicals looking for a reason to stir shit up, or have no and are simply mad seeing their favorite creator dare give money to a political party they don't like. As far as him not using Kiss Cartoon to watch the show through, he already said it might have been malware to him, so he probably doesn't use it.
I was renaming the scene for some reason, or no, the scene collection for some reason, because I'm a shithead and I suck. And it unloaded everything briefly. I forgot that that might happen.
The site, and at that, it's likely he already watched the show the very day it launched, as it came out October 16th, 2023, and the Kiss Cartoon rip came out the very next day. Point here is this controversy, if you want to call it that, was really stupid, and the fact it had even a slight bit of movement at all is stupid as well. However, there was one person who chimed in during all this named I Love Kim Possible a lot, better known simply as KP, and trust me, we'll get into—
And by the way, like, a thing that really did kind of stop me in my tracks is I also like the show Kim Possible. Like, a lot, right? Like, I need to turn my camera off and on. Okay, so in large part, I did grow up watching Kim Possible, the television show. My camera's laggy now. Is it the only laggy thing? Weird, hold on.
Her later on down the line in this video, just stay tuned. Another thing that people have gone after Saber for is the constant gooner bait that he reviews on the channel. I know it's rather tame just like the last one, but the dude has made plenty of videos with clickbait thumbnails going over suggestive content on many occasions. I mean, he even had to upload a review to the hub because it was that explicit in nature and there was no way YouTube would allow it, showing his dedication to reviewing such material. Now, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't care about this. I'm not a prude, and I know the YouTube game and no stuff like this pulls in views and attention. It's just funny with Saber, as he's taken things to a very cringe level before, in my opinion, peaking with the infamous—
Okay, I think I've hit some kind of weird memory leak. I bet this.
McDonald's anime YouTube short I'm about to play to y'all.
Some folks find it cute, others find it repugnant. But for me, for some reason, I
One
can really
second.
go for a cheeseburger right about now.
I
The side of
restarted.
breeding, too.
Oh yeah, no, my render pipeline is chewing itself because it's starting. I was about to think it was for something else, but it's because it's starting. Okay, that makes sense. That's okay. I made sense of it. Deactivate. Activate. Schmactivate. You motherfucker. Goddamn, brother. Goddamn. Turn off. Turn on. Deactivate. Activate. You bastard. You bastard. You goddamn bastard. You dirty bastard. Hold on. You dirty bastard. What the hell resolution is this? Oh, I can just play this thing, huh?
Ew, why'd I say that?
Oh,
This
that's the
video is
resolution.
constantly brought
That
up
is
whenever people trash on a dude, and yeah, it's extremely cringe, and I have no idea how this made it past the scripting phase all the way into production and eventual upload. In fact, that last clip
HBO.
should give enough of a hint that Saber is kind of a soy dude in general. You can really see it here with this
Activate.
picture of him soy-facing holding a can of gay, alcohol-free peach Bellini. A picture
I'm
that
just-
just reeks of that modern-day hip and trendy product feel, like with the infamous KFC Beyond Nuggets picture of the two dudes soy-facing together. There was even this recent video he posted complaining about how YouTube constantly age restricts his
There we go.
content, takes it down, with commenters
Come on.
reminding him how he's literally
Work.
reviewed his own R34 in the channel before, and him acting annoyed about all this ain't really called for when
Work.
the issue is mostly him. People on Twitter were especially giving him a hard time because of this,
Deactivate?
and he even liked a comment mentioning this as well, meaning he was well aware of his reputation for using
Schmactivate.
gooner bait and how a lot of people found him complaining about his videos are being taken down felt shallow.
Motherfuck.
Now, obviously, SaberSpark has been having some issues online, but thankfully he hasn't had to deal with any major problems like people trying to hack into his channel or many other social media accounts yet, just like how I don't have to deal with that either thanks to Aura, the sponsor of today's video.
Wow.
Let's say that I have a suspicion that
Just
data brokers
wow.
are selling my information online because I keep getting spam emails. Well, let's say that suspicion ends up being true, and now I have to spend weeks, if not months, having to deal with getting my email off their databases. That's where Aura comes in, because instead of me having to do all the manual work and spend hours upon hours trying to deal with just one data broker, Aura will show me who and where all these data brokers are selling my information to and submit opt-out requests to every single place that's selling my data and save me tons of time and stress in the process. I've already mentioned in the past how they've significantly reduced the amount of spam emails I get, and so I continue to use them because I hate having to deal with all that spam to begin with. Aura has other features too, such as antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more, all within their product, making it infinitely easier to keep track of all this thanks to not having to download multiple different apps. And best of all, it's all wrapped neatly together at an affordable price. You might have
gonna
one
try
or
to
two of these tools
replug my
already,
camera.
but with Aura,
I'm gonna replug my camera. I can see it working in the preview window. It's just not working when I bring it into OBS, which is weird. Hold on. Oh, probably because I don't have the FPS set appropriately because I suck. Hold on. Doo-doo. Mother of fuck. God damn it. What a goofball. What an incredulous goofball. Alright, hold on. How did I want to do this again? What was I gonna do? Unplug, replug? Yes. I guess this will work. I have no clue.
you get more tools for a better price, and on top of that, more protection as well. I value your privacy just as much as I value mine, so go to aura.com/Lanza in the description or comments below to start your 2-week trial and protect yourself on the internet better than you have ever before. Thankfully, nobody in this video has had to deal with any of that yet, but if you yourself already have and are looking for a way to avoid running into future problems, I suggest giving Aura a chance yourself with my link below as soon as you can. I'm going to continue using Aura to protect myself online, and so after seeing all those controversies, if you want to call them that, it was pretty clear that they were all mostly stupid, with none ranging higher than a "oh, I guess that happened" kind of level. However, this next one he had was the one that really ramped things up here beyond just internet stupidity. In January 2025, Saber released a video titled The Shameless World of Anti-Woke Cartoons, a 45-minute dive going into conservative cartoons and how they're shameless and such. If it wasn't clear earlier, it's clear by now that SaberSpark is a liberal, and so the framing of his critiques come from a liberal lens,
This is
with his
weird that
audience
it's
eating
not
it up as they had
working.
similar beliefs to him. However, it was around the 35-minute mark where things got a bit weird here, as he would start to talk about YouTube animator Freedom Toons, someone who is known for making right-leaning comedic cartoons on the internet. Now,
Okay,
Freedom
trying
Toons
this.
content is pretty tame given the context, and in fact, multiple videos making fun of both sides because if there's a funny joke to be had, he'll likely use it for a short little video of his. In fact, SaberSpark's own comments had a decent amount of people defending the dude from being included with all the other cartoons he covered, showing that even though they're majority liberal, they too can see that Freedom Toons is a mostly benign creature in the political cartoon landscape. However, this is all moot, as the real meat and potatoes has to do with how SaberSpark portrayed him in the video, and let's just say he did a little more than just call his content cringe in his eyes.
I mean, they went after trains and unironically used the word chud in their video title. We're with it. We know the modern cultural zeitgeist and vernacular. Bro, based?
Well, I've been here at the subway station for about 15 minutes, and I've yet to witness a murder.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what can I say? You know, do I need to say the quiet part out loud? They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're implying, and it's pretty despicable.
Now, besides the chud joke flying completely over his head, as Freedom Toons is very clearly making fun of people who use the word in an ironic sense, that ending there was SaberSpark very clearly implying the dude is a racist without outright saying it. That's a pretty big claim to make, and so a couple days later, Freedom Toons would make a response video, as that's a pretty big implication to put onto somebody, especially if that person is someone with over 2 million subscribers and a very influential audience. He would start to talk about the smaller things like the jokes he didn't get and his perception being skewed by his political bias, but right when he gets into the racism stuff, that's where things get interesting here.
They know exactly what they're implying.
What am I implying? What am I implying? Are you trying to make a thinly veiled accusation? In this video, there's a running gag that people keep sending interns into the subway, and they keep getting pushed in front of the train by like psychotic homeless people. The second guy gets pushed in front of the train by a white guy. So you left that pretty important detail out, seemingly to make it appear that we were making some kind of racist statement and have a racist audience. What's not okay is deceptively editing my cartoons, removing certain moments from the context of the overall video, and crafting a deceptive narrative about what it is that myself and my team do for a living here and what it is our audience enjoys watching.
Seeing that SaberSpark deliberately twisted the video to make it seem as if Freedom Toons was racist and lied about him and his character to his millions of fans, he would start to get completely trashed on both in the comments section of the video and especially on Twitter, as they had recently been going at him online. He would dip out from the site entirely, seeing that things are not looking good for him whatsoever. And for a little while, people would wonder if he would do anything to fix the situation at all. He would indeed fix things the best way he could by editing out the section talking about Freedom Toons entirely and pinning a comment stating that he reached out to him privately to apologize for implying he was racist. This seems to be the case, as no one has said anything about the situation since. But something that I noticed in researching this section in particular is that there are people criticizing Saber for bending the knee to the right-wingers instead of sticking to the accusation. For example, there's this leftist YouTuber named Xan.
How do you set the fucking log level in social stream? I know, right? This is like such a valid thing to want to know. It's so reasonable, so based, so understandable. I know, right?
Hall that made a video titled SaberSpark was censored for criticizing Freedom Toons when that very clearly is just a lie. But what do I expect from the guy who used PayPal for his life savings instead of a bank account, only to lose it all after a hacker got in? There was even this Reddit post on an r/YouTube drama subreddit saying that.
Okay, this shit goes way deeper than I had ever imagined and involves so many motherfuckers. Like, actually, what the fuck? Dude.
SaberSpark caved to the MAGA mob when removing this part about Freedom Toons as if he was somehow in the right for borderline slandering the guy to his millions of fans online. I don't understand why these people are so stupid like this, but I just had to include these in the video because it was just so strange, as it felt like a whole thing was brewing against Saber from the radical politics crowd, again similar to the Chipchilla situation. Nothing ever came of this, but still, the fact this even had a tiny bit of movement is just so bizarre to me. Now there's just one more situation here before we get into the insane stuff. And don't worry, while it seems like a bit of a pivot, this is the most important part of the entire situation surrounding SaberSpark, and you'll soon see why. For those of you that don't know, Black Griffin is a very successful YouTuber and musician who is also part of
and their username destroys people, myself included. It just comes out of nowhere and it makes you have to question, are you about to be like levied as a fucking character in someone else's desire to oh, I don't know, call someone that just to like be snide. You never know until you know. Hold on. I'm like, y'all,
the Brony scene
NVIDIA
back in the early
broadcast keeps
2010s.
crashing.
That's how he got his first wave of online fame, and so part of that fame included a lot of voice actors on the show, more specifically, Michelle Kreber, the voice actress of the character Apple Bloom. Now Griffin, better known by his real name Gabriel these days, was 20 years old when the show launched back in 2010, and Michelle was 11 herself. Despite this large age gap, they would hang out a lot around the time he was 23 and she was 14, singing and creating songs together as both of them are pretty good musicians apiece, even doing some concerts during the whole Brony wave together.
Wow.
However, it wasn't just Michelle that Gabriel was hanging out with, as he was also hanging out with Claire Corlett, known for voicing the character Sweetie Belle in the show.
I found it.
She was also 11 when the show launched,
There we go.
and though they weren't throwing any concerts together on the same level as Michelle, they still hung out together a couple times as the years progressed despite the similar 23-14 age gap going on here. Where things get interesting is that they would end up dating one another in the future, as Gabriel would go and confirm this in November 2020 after rumors had been going around, with him saying she was the one who kept pushing herself onto him once she was an adult, denying her multiple times before he eventually.
Sorry, I was already feeling nauseous from the Excedrin, and that just like threw me for a loop. That's all. So I was already feeling Excedrin nauseous, and like, you know, just general fatigue nauseous. And then that hit me and I was like, oh, okie dokie. Run that back at me again?
Together on the same level as hanging out, some concerts during the whole Brony wave together. However, it wasn't just Michelle that Gabriel was hanging out with, as he was also hanging out with Claire Corlett, known for voicing the character Sweetie Belle in the show. She was also 11 when the show launched, and though they weren't throwing any concerts together on the same level as Michelle, they still hung out together a couple times as the years progressed despite the similar 23-14 age gap going on here. Where things get interesting is that they would end up dating one another in the future, as Gabriel would go and confirm this in November 2020 after rumors had been going around, with him saying she was the one who kept pushing herself onto him once she was an adult, denying her multiple times before he eventually gave it a shot. By this point in time, he was 29 and she was 20, but
okay, yeah, here's the thing. This sounds wicked dysfunctional in all fucking ways at this moment in time, and I'm willing to see how it continues, because it sounds wicked dysfunctional at this moment. And that's okay. Life is messy. But what the fuck?
But a lot of people looked at this with a very strange eye, given he had been hanging out with her since she was a young teenager and he was already in his early 20s. Nonetheless, Claire herself wasn't fazed by any of these rumors and would joke around publicly in the very post where he confirmed how it went down, showing she in no way felt any sort of fear or unease around him, and confirmed his story to be true given the jestful manner. Fast forward 2 years later and the two of them are getting married, but drama would arise as Claire's father Ian Corlett will make a post on Instagram talking about how she didn't invite her own parents to the wedding. Now Ian here isn't just the father of a voice actress. He was the first English voice actor of adult Goku back in Dragon Ball Z in 1996 and 97, and most recently is the guy who voices Mr. Fantastic in Marvel fucking Rivals. The dude is an industry vet.
Yeah, clearly.
And has notable voices under his belt.
Holy
and so as quickly
man.
as the post was made, it was soon taken down, but that side of the internet was now ablaze as they had no idea what was going on. Claire would eventually make a post herself to quell the rumors, with the gist of it basically being her explaining how she's estranged from her father because he's a bully and an
You know what? Hold on. Fuck OBS broadcast. Give me a second. Bypassing this shit. Fuck this thing. I don't need this shit. God damn it. I'll do this my own self. Made of magic. I don't need this. I don't need this in my life. I can adjust my own camera. I don't need this thing to tell me what to do. Oh, sick. It's already adjusted. That's nice. Nice. Wicked. Well, I mean, my brightness is in. Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, I'll just be my own, like, adjustment. I don't need this thing. I'm good. Less
asshole, even at one point saying that he would make alt accounts to stalk and harass Gabriel, which is true, and coming from someone deep in the VA industry like himself, that's some extra juice to this story going on here that people would absolutely eat up. Now you may be asking why I'm going on this long tangent about Brony wedding drama and what this has to do with Saberspark.
Well, because then if it doesn't move, it's not using GPU processing for it. Then also, in addition, it's not going to be inconsistent and weird. And that's kind of a nice one.
That's because Saberspark has publicly chosen the side of Gabriel and Claire all back when this went down, even acknowledging how Claire was the one with the crush on Gabriel and that he never gave in until she was 20. Also going with the story that she kept asking him out when she became a legal adult. He even commented on the original post Ian made about not being invited to the wedding and called him some choice words, clearly showing that he doesn't like the guy at all. Hell, Saber was even one of the groomsmen at the wedding itself, as you can see on the left there, so it was all but certain he was on their side without a doubt. Now, as you guys heard earlier, Claire was the one who started hitting on Gabriel after turning 18, with Gabriel turning her down multiple times before eventually giving in to her advances when she was 20 and he was 29. This is despite the fact they'd known each other for over half a decade at the very least back when she was a young teenager and he was in his early 20s. Trust me, I know how this looks and sounds. It sounds like a case of internet grooming, and I certainly understand the perspective. However, I looked into this case months ago, and even though things give off a weird feeling, there was nothing.
Okay, so yeah, here's about where we were when I was like, this is too, well, here and the people blackmailing the alleged victim is about where we were when I put my hands up and said, we're not platforming this till more is like kind of solidified.
Here that actually
That's
proves
what we
that
got.
Gabriel groomed Claire at any point in
Just
time.
there.
Sure, they hung out
Nowhere
together
else.
despite their big age gap, but even when Claire had a chance to tell people back in November 2020 if she was groomed by Gabriel or not when the rumors were going around, she instead started making jokes alongside the very post he made where he revealed that she was the one who was into him and kept pushing it. This shows to me that what Gabriel said was true, and the fact they ended up getting married 2 years later shows that she never got this strange vibe from him at all during their relationship enough to warrant a breakup. After what I've looked at myself, it doesn't seem there was any grooming going on here, as there is no evidence Gabe hung around Claire because he wanted to date her. He was just a popular figure in the brony fandom, and so the studios thought it'd be a nice idea to have the two hang around to further cement this online relationship between the show and the fandom itself. Now, one of the people that believes Gabriel groomed Claire is somebody by the name of Brony Fandom, better known by his actual name, Bonk. Now, Bonk here has been going at Gabriel since late 2023 to early 2024, as he is fully convinced that he groomed her without a doubt in his mind, and has also been going after Saber for defending him. However, this story wouldn't really gain any momentum outside niche circles for a while, with it starting to get some movement by the middle of summer 2024, so much in fact that Michelle will end up making a response to everything going on June 17th. A lot of it is her denying that Gabe was ever creepy towards her way, and at one point backs him and Claire up by stating that Claire was the one who engaged with the relationship with Gabriel to begin with, making it clear she wasn't mincing words with this statement. She would even go on to say that they were never close friends until she became an adult, and that a lot of the stuff they did as kids were set up with parental supervision given the age gaps, which makes perfect sense given how the industry is like and how collaborations between parties are mostly set up by studios rather than natural meetups. Michelle even states how Gabe was very uncomfortable with Claire's initial advances given people had spread rumors of him and Michelle back in the day, but as we know, nothing bad ever came of that and they're now married. The other parts are basically more Michelle backing up her friends from everything the internet has been throwing at them up to that point, so it's more the same and not worth getting deep into. However, just like pretty much everyone involved, she too alludes to Claire going through some rough stuff growing up, so given we have Claire, Saber, and now Michelle backing up this rhetoric, maybe Ian Corlett over there ain't so fantastic after all. Also, Michelle did end up deleting this post after making it, and I figured to tell you that for clarity's sake. Now, there was one more situation that happened related to all this, and that's when the developers of the indie game Billy Bust Up started getting dragged into the mess surrounding Gabriel and Claire, with people trying to force them to drop Gabe from their roster of voice actors back in June 2024. The main devs, Kate and Ash, would drop a response just a few days later on the 17th, and though it's not really that interesting, there were some interesting parts, such as how there was a time that Gabe and Claire got a cake at a restaurant in December 2019, but that I said happy anniversary on it. Obviously, this makes it seem as if they were dating earlier than they said, but it turns out the video was attached to a post where Claire writes hashtags like happy anniversary and I am a con artist after a day hanging out with Gabe. Gabe's response to the video in question with laughing emojis and his own hashtags happy anniversary indeed and thanks for the free dessert, making it pretty obvious now that Claire lied about being together in order to get free cake after dinner and that they weren't dating yet, unlike how the detractors are trying to spin it. However, the most interesting part isn't them responding to the claims, but rather how they claim that her abusers have made multiple burner accounts to spread misinformation online and that this was mentioned in Claire's testimony already. If you remember, Claire directly states her father Ian was doing this, and given we now have a fourth notable entity backing up Claire despite the public pressure going on, it really makes me wonder just what exactly Ian was up to in his free time, as all these people have careers to lose by saying such things about a voice actor with industry power and connections like him. It's whatever though, this is all just Black Griffin related stuff going on at the end of the day here. And even though Saber's just one of the many people backing up his friends, there was no way in hell he would get dragged into his own mess, right? Right? On May 1st, 2025, Bonk would make a post on the behalf of an anonymous person saying that back in 2012 and 13, Saber sparked them at two different brony conventions. I obviously can't go into detail given YouTube's rules, but according to this anonymous person, this happened in the bedroom and restroom, with both times ending with Saber apparently going for a handshake and saying, "Friends," once it was all over. Now normally I would go into the nitty gritty, but it turns out that as part of the initial post, Bonk was also telling people that KP had a video coming out later that day with more info and to sit back for that. So, I and many other people did exactly that to see if this had anything going on here, or if it was just words on a screen and nothing more. KP would release her video just a couple hours later, but when I say this video was complete dog shit, I really mean it. It is easily a top 10 and one of the worst videos I've ever seen in my time online. As you can tell by the title, it talks about 2 people in DA games and Saber instead of just one of them, with the total runtime being just barely over 2 hours long. However, when checking the chapters, you can see that Saber's segment in relation to the allegations is only 6 minutes long, and that segment is literally just reading the Twitter allegations and nothing more. No evidence, no deeper investigation. It's literally just what was on Twitter, except that they voice now. The entire video is also talking about all this crazy stuff like child grooming and such, yet is full of comedic skits throughout, completely killing the vibe and showing just how tone deaf KP is at video production.
I mean, it did come off really inappropriately. I will give it that. Yeah, totally.
By the way, I wasn't going to make fun of Steven so much, but I gave him so many chances to communicate with me, and he just didn't do anything. So clearly he doesn't care what I have to say. It's only an issue when there's potential backlash.
Come to make an announcement! Shadow the Hedgehog is a bitch-ass motherfucker! He pissed on my fucking wife!
Now, I ain't one to police when or what kind of jokes someone can make, as I love me some dark and edgy shit, but when majority of the runtime is just jokes instead of a proper telling of the story, a story that was shoehorned into the video for easier views as KP admitted herself, and a story that was hyped up to have more evidence only to be just someone reading tweets and nothing more, people were beyond pissed with the outcome. When the most interesting part of this situation wasn't even the video, but the fact that Chris Chan showed up in the comments, that's when you know you fucked up. And in this case, the entire story is basically blown up from the moment this video launched. Seeing that KP completely killed her momentum mere hours after the allegations started, Bonker threw her under the bus to try and save his own skin. Except it turns out this is actually the second person behind the Brony Fando account, simply known by the name of S, meaning we now have a total of 4 people trying to ruin Saber's career. Bonk, S, KP, and the anonymous person who made the allegations to begin with. People would also see that KP had been hyping up this video for exactly a month when checking back on her Twitter posts, making post after post alluding to her video on him and how it would be such an epic own against the guy. She even started up a Discord watch party in her server and reposted artwork of her Brony character as Moses parting the seas because she's such an epic and cool person who definitely knows how to make a proper video and isn't a washed up former Brony YouTuber who has no sense of handling allegations at all. Oh yeah, and KP didn't even tell all her VAs in the video what the topic was even about, also inadvertently dragging them into the mess as well. As y'all can tell, KP is an extremely incompetent woman who is very clearly out of her league when it comes to anything outside giving her opinion on what cartoon she enjoys. And so she would unlist and eventually private the video entirely just hours after it dropped after realizing just how bad she screwed up. The next day, she'd say the anonymous accuser was doing okay after screwing everything up, still pushing her allegations despite there being no evidence, and given that comment ratio, it's just another example of how bad all 4 of these people going after Saberspark screwed up their case. However, people are still trying to figure out who this anonymous person was now, as she was a catalyst for everything going down to begin with as she made the allegations herself. The other 3 just had a bone to pick with Saber. The Twitter account they were using was named the SunMouse5, and the only notable thing they said was how they got the dates mixed up initially and that both events happened in 2012 rather than one in 2012 and one in 2013. However, the former chair of Equestria LA, another Brony convention, will come out and make a statement saying they know who made the post and say they've done some crazy stuff on their own, but given they don't name drop them, it's not talking about all this crazy stuff like child grooming and such, yet is full of comedic skits throughout completely.
I went back in time.
Honestly, it's not even. Emmy was a Brony just like everybody else, and they were. However, Emmy had made a post on the account saying that she's excited to be spending the weekend with Ryan Drummond in 3 more weeks. And on the day she met up with this unknown lover of hers, he would get her an oil massage, very clearly showing their relationship was an intimate one. Eventually, after a post with a slew of satisfying emojis, someone would ask if they went down on each other, and Emmy would confirm it as such. Now you guys may be wondering, wow Lanza, why should we give a shit about any of this? She probably just met up with their lover after weeks of being apart. This seems like a waste of time in this video. Well, my friends, that's where it gets fun here, as it turns out it was none other than Ryan Drummond she met up with, as she would go on to confirm that he fucked her in a Sonic voice, fulfilling the dream that many fangirls in the world could only imagine happening. Except, this dream would end up being a nightmare, as it turned out that Ryan was married and Emmy was now a homewrecker, and she would go on to make a response to all this denying everything and that all they did was hang out and totally not bang or nothing despite the slew of tweets she made during their time together. She even defends herself saying that Ryan and his wife were having issues and were separated from one another at the time and admits that they were exploring a potential relationship, but again, they definitely didn't go down on each other and he definitely didn't use the Sonic voice, guys, just trust her. Honestly, it's not even that big of a deal if he indeed was already separated.
I am absolutely dead.
It's just funny
Holy
that he
shit.
used a voice when going down on her. I wonder if she used the tail voice herself when that was happening. Whatever, fuck it, I'm getting off track. The point is that Ryan would eventually divorce his wife in 2019, and since then he and Emmy seem to be doing fine, as he's been voicing Sonic in her online series Sonic and Tails R since 2020, with his most recent credit being the most recent episode as of June 2024. Now, I would love to dig into the document a throwaway Reddit user made, but most of the evidence is tenuous at best and show that they interacted on Twitter a few times together while going to the same convention. However, I don't need to do any legwork to prove if the anonymous person was Emmy or not, because within 30 minutes after the document dropped, the anonymous Twitter account Sunmouse5 would delete their account, making it very clear this was indeed Emmy behind the account as she let her emotions get the best of her. The account has since been reactivated, but come on now, I can read between the lines pretty easily on this one. Now where things get interesting is that it makes sense why Emmy would make these allegations anonymously. She has a career to lose and connections she's built for well over a decade that could come crashing down if things went wrong, and as we know, they indeed did thanks to KP's utter incompetence and overall lack of evidence. Speaking of KP, she would end up on a live stream with somebody named Slug Entertainment on May 5th, not even a full week after the shitfest started, in which she would admit to all the claims being hearsay and having no evidence at all, making things only even worse for her and everyone on her side. Oh yeah, and she also admitted to helping Emmy write the testimony as well, all nonchalant, clearly not realizing or understanding just how bad of a situation she's gotten herself in her lust for revenge against Saberspark.
I worked with the victim pretty directly throughout all this. I helped them write the testimony that was on Twitter, gave feedback, stuff like that, but, you know, did not write it for them, to be clear.
Basically, the evidence that you were given was more personal circumstance and hearsay rather than, like, objective evidence.
Correct. They didn't have any Skype logs or anything because of how long it was ago, and we did ask, so.
Bonk could also start
Yeah, so as I decided this night when this got dropped, and I'm still sticking to, if you find yourself in a compromising position, don't trust YouTubers. If you know someone who's about to go expose someone on YouTube instead of deferring to like a more appropriate means, please help them. Don't let them do that. Have them do something reasonable and not that, you know? That's a tip from me to you. YouTubers generally handle shit like shit. It doesn't seem appropriate to encourage our friends to do bullshit like this. Yeah, totally.
People on Twitter asking for any sort of evidence, showing that everybody in this fuck Saberspark boat were completely cooked on this one. On May 12th, 2025, Saberspark would drop his response video to everything going on, a 20-minute dive coming from his side of things. In said video, he denies he ever did anything to Emmy, who is never directly named due to still being anonymous technically, and gets into why Bonk and KP are even going at him to begin with. While we already know that Bonk is doing it because he doesn't like how Saber is still cool with Gabriel and has defended him in the past, no one actually had any idea why KP was involving herself in this yet. Saber had opened up stating that he used to know her back in the 2014 days during the Brony stuff, but their friendship drifted away as is common with people, only to learn almost a decade later in August 2023 that KP is going after an editor of his named Chris for an event that happened where he allegedly pleasured himself into KP's panties at a convention, but Chris would tell Saber that everything between him and KP were cool now and Saber will let it go. However, in November 2024, KP had showed disdain on Twitter that Saberspark kept Chris employed on his editing team despite what he did, saying she was now working on her infamous video. In January 2025, KP would email Saber directly and basically demand him to fire Chris or else, and Saber would reveal that Chris didn't actually do the deed into KP's panties, it was actually his attempt at a joke back in the day, albeit a very poor one, and that KP secretly recorded the call she had with Chris as well when she learned it was
Yeah, poor joke is an understatement, but yeah, no, that about
was just a bad joke.
Just want to profusely apologize for that terrible thing I did. And that God was an absolute horrible person so many years ago.
I mean, you can do horrible things without necessarily lumping yourself up with being a horrible person. I feel like that takes away your agency to a large extent when you can just accept what horrible thing you did and profess to it and say how you're going to grow and improve and not excuse your actions or disconnect yourself or disassociate from them, you know, personally. But maybe I'm being bitchy, you know? Like, you're not a bad person. You do unhelpful things. Now, if you assess those appropriately, you're able to address them, and that's meaningful. Yes.
And you didn't deserve that.
Yes,
So
it is.
All right. So I don't really have anything else that I feel comfortable saying at this point, but I'll just leave with good luck and may God have mercy on your soul. And this too shall pass. Okay. All those things. So yeah. Okay.
Holy shit, bro.
In February 2025, KP would again email Saberspark with a slew of allegations ranging from him using his employees and treating them badly to using women for his own personal satisfaction, and would again basically try to demand him into dropping Chris and to never contact her, which he obviously didn't do as it was clear she was escalating things to an unreasonable level. Of course, the video would drop and get shat on, and when people realized it was a hit piece by his detractors to try and ruin his life, Saber would reveal that this S person is Sophie Scruggs, with them acting more as a moderator compared to Bonk's direct maliciousness so far. He also reveals that Bonk believes in internet justice over the legal system and doesn't even know what rain is, which yeah, that's pretty obvious. It's just funny seeing him admit it directly and shoot himself in the foot constantly. Saber also states he's looking into legal options, which given everything that has gone down, yeah, I don't blame him for that one at all. Bonk will start to crash out on Twitter and throw KP under the bus, saying he'll totally make a proper response to all this as soon as he can, and again brings up the Black Griffin stuff despite the evidence not being what it is to try and muddy the waters. People then find out that Bonk is a full con defender, which is basically NSFW lolly.
I was just gonna guess because I've been on the internet long enough. Oy vey. Why are we here?
Combo with underage MLP characters instead, and in fact has even gotten NSFW artworks of what is assumed to be an underage Deltarune character named Noelle under his other online identity, Helena Hyena. Now, as far as I can tell, there's no technical age ever set in the game, but the way Bonk replies heavily implies he believes her to be underage, quote, "I can't hurt Noelle, and it doesn't represent me or how I am with minors. I know I have no attraction to children or animals. Noelle is neither to me in my head." You can also see how he blames his bad upbringing for why he did this, but it's pretty clear the dude is not mentally sound at all, and this would only add more fuel to the fire. Bonk would crash out yet again, continuing to call Saberspark a rapist and start to blame the world for going after him now instead of Saber, as it was clear to him that his plot to take him down had failed. He would continue to blame the people around him, asking for a lick of evidence and how his faith in humanity is at an all-time low, despite again, them simply being rational people who want evidence to such heinous claims to begin with. However, this ain't even the most interesting part of this crash out, as he would go on to drop a voice message that KP sent to Emmy on his Blue Sky account, in which KP is now threatening to out Emmy to the public to try and save her own skin.
So I'm at the point where
Yeah, like I said, the people who said they were going to cover this ended up blackmailing the alleged victim, and that's all sorts of fucked the hell up, dude. Like, honestly, that's all that is really messed up. That's remarkably inappropriate and a gross choice to make, honestly. So I'm a little bit grossed out by it. I'm a lot bit grossed out by it. I'm pretty fucking perturbed by this. But that's where we stand. We stand about here in a state of complete and utter perturbation. Just kind of stun-locked. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck indeed? Oh well. I guess oh well's not the way to end that, really. It should just be oh no.
Reputation is on the line because of you. And I feel like an idiot because of you. And you can help me clean up this mess and get in a call and tell your side of the story, or this is going to blow up in your face, because people have already figured out it's you based on that mistake. And I'm tired, because the things that have been pointed out to me is that you have your own platform. You knew going in that people were going to figure it out. Maybe not this quickly.
I can do this.
Maybe not by your own mistake, but they did. And you can be an adult and help me clean up this mess, or you can be a coward. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not telling you what to do.
Yes, you are.
But you've put people that are in the video in a very difficult and dangerous position. And I don't think you really understand that. So make a decision soon, or I will publicly confirm it was you. You have 24 hours.
Bonk would start to threaten to kill himself and basically weaponize his own life against those rightfully going against him, with many people actually very aware of this, which shocked me given how just a few years ago, anytime someone would do this, they'd normally get away with whatever heinous thing they did. He would then tweet out of nowhere that he was streaming on Twitch, with a viewer stating that all he was doing was walking around with the phone in his pocket. the stream would be suspended, and so he would start to live stream on Twitter itself, with him hanging out over a bridge and crying, very clearly baiting his—
I mean, I also like streaming on Twitter as a platform. I find it, well, x.com, rather. I find it pretty cozy. I don't know. Like, it's a nice place. Like, the upload rate is pretty bad, and I'm not doing it at the moment because the stream crashed earlier. And so far it hasn't. We're gonna see how it holds up. But I'm watching this first.
Life to garner some sort of sympathy from people as they were all but done with him. Don't worry, nothing bad happens. And Sophie Scruggs are going to confirm that she got him admitted to a hospital and is changing the login info to the account so that he doesn't get access to it as he chills out. The account has since been privated, and if you ask me, that's probably the best outcome, as it's clear Bonk is a very mentally unwell person who should not be alleging anything serious against anybody at all. Now this is the part where things get fucking crazy, because people are still trying to figure out why Saber's detractors are going after him and Black Griffin now. Like, sure, there was a general understanding behind this, but people wanted exact answers, and so I would take a journey into the unknown to figure out beyond the grapevine going on here. And what I found was straight up wild, to put it lightly. KP ended up leaking their Discord DMs at Bonk dating from March 25th, 2020.
Sorry, I was like testing the thingy, where it's placed, its size. I'm okay with this. Wait, how's it come onto the screen? Oh, I meant to make it slide in. That's like the last thing. Okay, cool beans. I'll do that. Last thing. Almost done.
25 to May 2nd. These DMs, while mostly more of the same, had some interesting extra info, such as Bonk mentioning somebody by the name of Woot and how he also tried to expose Gabe at one point in time before legal threats shut him up. Now, who is this Woot person, you may ask? Why, none other than Wootmaster, also known as Ezekiel the Zebra, an online artist with a bit of an interesting past. You see, Wootmaster here in the past has both drawn and reposted Fulcon artworks, more specifically, reposted Fulcon of Sweetie Belle, the very character that Claire herself voiced in the show, and also material that Bonk is very much a fan of, as we saw earlier. Hell, the dude has even outright defended Woot on the timeline before when it came to his drawing of the MLP character Smolder, a character in the show who was part of the Young Six, which I'm sure you guys can put 2 and 2 together on that one. That's—
oh, god damn it.
It's not even the worst part, however, as it would turn out that back in April 2023,
wait, so who's this person again, and why are they associated with this outside of being a portion of the allegations directed to someone else?
Woot's partner Zeeb Demon would end up admitting on Twitter they were a map, aka a pedophile, in which they would get shat on like they deserve to be. In fact, the news had spread so wide and so fast that Twitter owner Elon Musk himself would step in to ban Zeeb off the platform, showing just how big of a deal this was during the very short 24-hour lifespan they had left once they made the post. The fact Woot has gone after Saberspark and called him a predator as well is mighty ironic given the stuff he's involved himself in, and there seems to be this constant wave of projection for both Black Griffin and Saberspark detractors going on here, but I digress. There was also another notable name in the mix, and somebody named Amy who was involved in this whole crusade against Black Griffin. It turns out that Amy is Amy New, best known for being the wife of Peter New, the voice actor of the MLP character
Griffin? Oh,
Big Macintosh. Her involvement, while brief, is one of the most important of all, as she was one who handed over Emu Emmy to KP at the very beginning in order to start the Saberspark cancellation attempt in the first place. And, get this, just hours later, KP confirmed to Bonk that they talked and that she believed Emmy's story about Saber despite having no evidence, as we know already, just had to point that out. Now, Slug Entertainment would hit up Amy after seeing her name involved, and she would reply back basically pushing everything on the KP for screwing the case up and invoking her name when she never wanted to be involved beyond just pointing Emmy towards her way. Honestly, it makes sense. Sometimes people might know a guy who knows a guy and can get a ball rolling, but it seems like Amy had nothing to do other than just getting the two together. Well, if only that was the case, as Amy has been going gung-ho after Saber since KP dropped allegations on May 1st, even making her own public post about it, going on to retweet others also going at him and basically continuing to perpetuate the allegations despite having zero evidence and only the testimony of Emmy. Listen, I understand someone getting two parties together to work on a project, but to then gloat about it publicly and continue to perpetuate the story while secretly being one of the most integral pieces behind the scenes, only to then throw the public scapegoat under the bus to save your own skin? Yeah, of course I'm gonna mention it, because clearly there's more going on with Amy than she wants people to know. I don't particularly care that she believes Emmy's word despite there being no evidence, even if that's extremely stupid. I just want you to know that Amy here, the wife of the VA of the show, is part of the story despite keeping her involvement behind the scenes until KP brought her name up. I also checked her interactions with Saberspark on Twitter, and while they were seldom and far and few between over the course of a decade, it seems that Amy too started to dislike him in summer 2024 once she learned about how he's defended Gabe in the past. It all seems to tie back to Gabe and his relationship with Claire, and it's just so bizarre to witness because it seems that everyone involved had ulterior motives going on here rather than just wanting to expose Gabe and Saberspark for their supposed crimes. Now, one person that I've only briefly mentioned a few times is Sophie Scruggs, the other person behind the Brony fan don't count. While Bonk has been a lot more deranged about his disdain for Gabe and Saber, Sophie has been a lot more calculated about the way she goes about the story herself, keeping things mainly on her own Twitter account and sounding a whole lot more cool and collected compared to Bonk. Sophie also isn't just some random person. She was an official artist on the MLP comics at one point in time, showing that her involvement with not even the fandom but the actual brand itself was more than most people mentioned.
I needed to finish that. It was going to irk me until I did. Like,
in this video. However, Sophie has shown to have a lack of critical thinking skills as well in her journey to take down Gabriel, such as back in February 2025 when the Brony fandom account would announce allegations that Gabriel sexted a 13-year-old and allegedly sent a picture of his junk to them. The thing is, there's not a single piece of evidence to back this up. Just an anonymous person saying this happened and nothing more. And as a
I was about to say how much I hate our world, but okay, we can move on.
Matter of fact, when they eventually came to the public and revealed themselves as somebody named Destiny Doodles, they would again state they have no evidence to any of their claims against the man. Mind you, these are literally life-ruining claims that can send someone to prison, and the fact that these people are perpetuating this based on the logic of, oh, I believe the victim, is pure insanity. I take stuff like this extremely seriously, and seeing that Sophie, someone who has been very calculated with the way they've gone about going after Gabe online, run a story like this simply because they believe the victim and nothing more shows to me a notable lapse in their judgment in their journey to ruin Gabe's life. I mentioned earlier how I believe this was a lack of critical thinking skills when introducing this story, but now that I think about it, it seems way too calculated to be that. I think that Sophie took a gamble to try and get more eyes on Gabe, and then when people bring up how she's basically slandering the guy, she would then talk about how she has this believe all victims mindset because Twitter is rampant with people who have no problem slandering others so long as they can hide behind the guise of just wanting to support the victim. This makes sense to me as she's continued to push about how she believes Destiny, has put in her very Twitter name, I believe Destiny, pass it on, and how she's been using this situation to go after the Billy Bust-Up team for continuing to employ Gabe despite the story coming out. It's funny to me because they have no reason to drop Gabe given everything we looked into, but just like Bonk, Sophie too is trying to use public pressure to go after those who are cool with him, showing just how calculated she is in their attempts to not even go after Gabe now by any person who dare defend him online. Destiny has gone on to delete her allegations against Gabe due to legal threats, which if you ask me, is completely warranted given she's basically saying he's a pedo with no evidence at all. However, I still feel a little bit bad for her as it would turn out she was ousted to the public and was forced into revealing herself, and while I still find it very shady she thought she could allege such serious things against someone and try to hide in the background all anonymous and such. The fact she didn't even come out publicly on her own volition but because all the crazy people going after Gabe forced her to just makes things that much more messy here. Also, I saw Amy in the comments on Sophie's personal Twitter account talking about all this stuff, showing just how connected all the people here going after Gabe and Saber are. Now, the Billy Bust-Up team would drop a second document online in March 2025 defending Gabe after Sophie is dragging him into the mess again with the Destiny stuff, and in fact were the source for a lot of the serious stuff like Wootmaster being a complete freak and how Bonk is directly connected to them, and even more stuff about Bonk like his face and the fact he used to roleplayed as an underage MLP character named Screwy that dated another who was 19, but that 19-year-old used magic to age himself down to 10 to date the character. I know, some really bizarre roleplay stuff.
Wait, what? Run that back. I'm trying to like deal with having a robot automate moderating the stream on all the platforms.
Document online in March 2025 defending Gabe after Sophie is dragging him into the mess again with the Destiny stuff, and in fact were the source for a lot of the serious stuff like Wootmaster being a complete freak and how Bonk is directly connected to them, and even more stuff about Bonk like his face and the fact he used to roleplayed as an underage MLP character named Screwy that dated another who was 19, but that 19-year-old used magic to age himself down to 10 to date the character. I know, some really bizarre roleplay stuff, but y'all get the point already. Now, I'm not here to judge the document.
Okay, got a 200 error. Totally, or sorry, response. Totally works at least. That's great. Our little local, well, like, so using an LLM locally to, how do I say this? Alive locally to deal with some moderation seems totally fine. Like, that's the kind of thing I'd do locally, right? It uses local resources. Yes, it was trained on a wider swath of things, but it's like not using much processing. It runs locally, and it's just to help me moderate stuff.
Because it's frankly stuff we already know. I'm just here to show y'all how Sophie, Bonk, and co have shown that they're all willing to drag anyone down into their level in their lust for vengeance against Gabe so long as they even have a slight positive connection to him. They've let their hatred for the man blind them, and in the process it all came crashing down once they tried to drag Saberspark into the mess as KP royally screwed up their story so badly it caused bigger eyes to look into it and discover this elaborate crusade that dates back almost a whole decade. Now there's one more interesting part of the document, and that's a section dedicated to defending Claire from her stalkers. It shows them back in March 2020 of them discussing how they're going to sell the story that Gabe groomed her. You can literally see them saying that selling Gabe as a pedo is tougher than selling him as a groomer, and the narrative that they were forming in real time for the eventual campaign against the man. That is some deranged stuff to see, but the thing is, these messages aren't from the expected suspects in Bonker's Sophie. In fact, there's no name attached to this screenshot at all, making it really hard to figure out who exactly these people are. However, the Billy Bust-Up team claims to have an audio clip of the person from the screenshot speaking to Claire when confronted about it in real life. And when I say I was shocked by what I listened to, I truly was, as while in hindsight the writing was on the wall, it was still so bizarre to listen to in real time.
Something I would like to say, if you want to talk about Twitter and lying,
Oof.
Do you have something to say for yourself, Janice?
Absolutely. Yeah, I formed a Twitter handle that because I didn't think it was appropriate for your to go.
Right.
What a crock of shit that is.
Mechanics.
Gabe.
In case that hurts your career, if you do it on your Twitter account?
Oh, no. Just because it's kind of human. That's all. And I completely admit
cyberbullying is human.
I completely admit to it.
Wait,
really? But you never told me.
Why would I tell you?
You blocked me on Twitter.
Big deal.
So you didn't want to see me, but you'll tell me.
Weird.
I'm telling you right now. I'm not.
Why did you block me on Twitter?
I'm not. What do you mean block?
Janice blocked on Twitter.
Fine. Do you want? I can unblock you. And you know what? Now that it's all in the open, I'll really do it. Because I think.
Did you know about this?
I think that people. No, Mom knows nothing about this. I think that people that need to be called out when they're full of it, and frankly, there's a huge component of his followers that go, "What the hell are you tweeting for at 3 a.m. for?"
That is very common for him. So I don't know what you're
well aware of
it's
that.
It's not like he's on tour in REO Speedwagon and they're playing gigs till 2 a.m. He's doing nothing.
You are trying to sabotage him and his career. And
it's just being treated like it's a normal old thing. That's wild. Like, that's the wild part.
Everything about him.
Just some normal old thing.
And that is the way you're going about it. Instead of talking.
It's wild.
And you're swooving your freaking way around every other possibility that could get you.
Wild.
And his extra Twitter account said,
which you denied.
I did not deny.
Yeah, Gabe sent you a DM, said quit it. I know what this is about. And
Yeah.
you were like, oh, just another hater.
That's not denying anything. I am a hater.
Come back. First of all, quarantine in your fucking room. Bye.
I have one more thing.
What do you have now?
Why is it that?
What is all this bullshit? Oh, I'm gonna go into family therapy like this.
You said family therapy. Bullshit. You liar.
Holy shit, brother.
I know you're gonna try to equate. Fuck off.
Yep, I know some of y'all recognize that voice. As it turns out, the Billy Bust-Up team is saying that one of the people going after Gabe was none other than Goku Mr. Fantastic himself, Ian Corlett. Claire caught one of his alternate Twitter accounts named Janice and confronted him about it in therapy, and if what the—
How do people have time for, like, multiple accounts? And, like, creeping on each other and doing dodgy shit? Like, maybe I'm just a piece of shit. I don't fucking know. I probably am just a piece of shit. It's just, like, I don't... Like, people have, like, whole second accounts on shit. And it is, like, so fucking wild to me. Like, it just absolutely breaks me. I just couldn't imagine. It's wild.
Billy Bust-Up team said is
Fucking
true.
wild.
That means back in 2020, Ian himself was planning on using at least one alternate Twitter account to manipulate public perception and is thinking that Gabe groomed his very own daughter. That is some truly insane stuff, and the fact that this is a thing that actually happened even to this very day is still mind-blowing to think about. As you all have seen, the entire story here with Saberspark and Gabriel have much more going on here than the accusers made it initially seem. It's such a screwed up situation because those who were going after Gabe in specific and saying that he groomed Claire kept pushing things despite the evidence being extremely weak. And in fact, it would turn out that Claire had actually talked about all this publicly back in October 2024 and denied that Gabe groomed her, and again, given the weak evidence. The fact that Bonk, Sophie, and the other detractors all ignored her and continued to push this narrative showed that they didn't care at all about the truth of the situation. As if they truly did, they would come to understand their evidence is extremely weak, and seeing her denying everything outright is a more integral testimony to believe in here, given that they use testimony as hard evidence as we see throughout this video.
Our world
in
is
fact,
wild.
in DMs she had with Bonk just a few days later, he would start to call her a liar straight to her face about denying the allegations against Gabe and start to crash out against her, even trying to twist things and now call her a bad person for defending her husband. Mind you, again, there's no evidence that he groomed her despite the years of pushing this narrative around, and it's just so bizarre to see none of them get that through their heads. In fact, what's so funny to me about all this is that despite Bonk and Sophie trying to expose Gabe as a groomer, the closest thing to ever make him look creepy not only came up just this past spring 2025 and not during their initial try at ruining Gabe's life, it also has nothing to do with Claire at all, as the most damning stuff people have found is him at 20 years old talking very weird with a 14-year-old on DeviantArt starting back in August 2010. I'm not gonna mince my words on this even though I've been defending Gabe in this video. The way he talks to this person is very weird and creepy, referring to her as a baby and mentioning how she's still in school, clearly acknowledging that she's a minor. She was also likely a fangirl as well, given how excited she seems when she's talking to him. And it doesn't help that there are multiple instances of him calling her baby, and even at one point mentioning whether she's gotten rid of his stuff yet, which is just so odd to ponder about in my head. In December—
Wait, what stuff? What stuff? The what?
Remember that same year, Gabe would even plan up on meeting with her as the Navy band he was in was heading to Japan, but she would say her trip there was canceled and drop her email to try to set up a meetup. Mind you, he knows she's in high school, and her age was on her DeviantArt bio when they first met on the site, so I personally doubt he wasn't aware of her age when speaking to her. While they never met up from the looks of it, this is still some creepy stuff straight up, but this has nothing to do with Claire, and if anything is the only actual piece of evidence pointing in the direction that he's a creep. There's also one more thing I'd like to mention as part of the weird evidence against Gabe, and that is in the comments on his Halo 5 unboxing with Michelle back on Halloween 2015. Somebody would ask if he and Michelle were dating because they hung around together a lot, and somebody named Rosie would chime into the convo saying that he apparently met Michelle when she was just 9. Obviously she was wrong, and so the first reply that Gabe makes in the thread is to Rosie herself, clarifying that he met her when she was 13, and that it's possible for people with a big age gap to get together, using his own parents' 10-year gap as—
Okay, but sometimes your parents do unhelpful things for society and themselves and don't have the ability to identify it, articulate it, or grow past it in a meaningful way. I'm very fortunate that I had a therapist when I was itty-bitty that made that very clear to me, because if I just trusted without criticality every grown-ass person in my life, I would have had a very unfortunate existence, you know?
an example. He would then respond to somebody named La Toonami Kill, which is the Faye Xenogears person, as he's the only one whose name has changed in this part of the convo, in which Faye says that he's okay with people getting together so long as it's legal. Gabe would agree with that point and mention how the legal age of consent in Canada is 16 as an example, the country that Michelle was born in as a matter of fact. That's the end of the messages from his part, and some people have used this thread to say he's a pedo. Honestly though, when reading it, he doesn't say anything that isn't technically incorrect, as he's correct that the age of consent in Canada is 16. He was just using Canada as an example because Michelle's name was part of the entire reason people were talking to begin with. On top of that, this thread was from almost a decade ago, and people's perception on age of consent is a lot different than it is now, with a lot of people going by the law when it came to this kind of stuff back in the day. I don't think this makes him out to be a creep, I just think he held a belief back in the day that doesn't match up to today's standards, and I'm willing to bet he doesn't believe in that anymore given how as years have progressed, people have learned and become very aware of real predators who use legal age of consent as a way to get close to underage people and to abuse others. It just simply wasn't as known and understood like it is today. Now there are these Snapchat message leaks where somebody else claimed that Gabe sent them a dick pic despite knowing they were a freshman in high school and therefore a minor, but just like the Destiny stuff, they have no evidence of this. Figured to mention it because you already know, unless there's hard evidence for life-ruining claims, I don't like to give them credence.
Right, which is kind of why I didn't want to platform this, up until we got at least some more information. I still feel like, you know, icky. Pretty icky.
But given this whole video and how it's gone so far, it's best to have everything mentioned as we wrap things up here. Bonk was also released from the hospital and will make a really long rant on Blue Sky on May 23rd as he was still locked out of the Brony Fandom Twitter account, with most of it just him coping as he and Sophie's entire operation is now over. He also notably states that he never told anyone to not go to the police, but also states that he would never suggest someone to do that, showing that he still believes going to the public with life-ruining allegations and ruining a potential proper police investigation is worth it in that delusional brain of his. YouTuber Mr. Enter will drop his own video on the subject in early June 2025, but it's basically just 2 hours of the stuff we've seen already, and a much deeper investigation into Emmy's claims, which I personally don't think they're even worth going into given she never brought anything to the table herself to begin with, so there's no need to dig into it. However, what's more interesting is that he got an interview with Emmy, and while most of it is talking about the random controversy she's been in, I only care about the Saberspark stuff, so let's take a look at that together here. About 30 minutes of the 3.5-hour call is dedicated to the Saberspark stuff, but it's basically just Emmy swearing that this all happened with no evidence to boot. Now, I don't care about her reaction to Saber's video or anything like that, I just want evidence to support her claims, and given I don't get any of that, it's not worth digging into here. The only part I feel is worth showing is Emmy saying her end goal was to air this out to feel better about herself and to get an apology from Saber for what he allegedly did to her.
What do you want to happen like with Saberspark? Like, what was your end goal in sharing this? Were you just like, are you like on the whole like let's burn everything Saberspark made, or like what's your like kind of end goal in this?
In all honesty, when it came to speaking out, there wasn't really a whole lot of one, apart from just me proving that I could actually speak up about something, because like I mentioned, I have a history of dealing with assault and I have not been good about speaking up about it. And for me, more than anything, it was just kind of a personal thing of saying, no, I'm not okay with this. This has nothing to do with, honestly, it's not anything to do with trying to hurt him and obviously I acknowledge it does. You know, I don't really want to hurt anybody, but at the same time, honestly, when it came to like the story coming out, deep down I just kind of had hoped, you know, I mentioned I don't want him to reach out, but if he had emailed me and just gave me an apology of like, I'm sorry.
Again, this is a situation where the person who was stating that they were assaulted was pressured into coming out by like a litany of people around them that appear to not have had their best interest at heart. Maybe they did. I don't know. I'm not them. But personally, it doesn't feel like the folks around this person had their best interests at heart. I don't know. I could be very wrong, but that was the feeling I got from it. So, you know.
I didn't realize that I had made you uncomfortable. That would have been a very healing thing to receive, you know?
Again, this is all under the assumption he's guilty for something that there's no evidence of, so it's all just a bunch of nothing at the end of the day here. That's not even mentioning how Emmy just said that she didn't want people to contact her initially, yet wished in hindsight that Saber did so after she tried to ruin his life despite making it clear that she didn't want people to contact her to begin with. This is very contradictory and shows me that this whole campaign on her end wasn't thought out very well at all, and given how everything has gone down, she's reaping what she sowed alright if you ask me. Also, after the interview dropped, I noticed that Sophie has completely cut ties from the Brony Fandom brand entirely in June after seeing her crusade against Gabe has been completely ruined after the Saberspark stuff. In what I can only describe as an act of sheer and utter incompetence, she would give Bonk access back to the Twitter account despite him showing himself to be a very mentally ill man, and in typical fashion would get right back to harassing anyone associating with Billy Bustup for not firing Gabe despite him wanting them to. I mean, you can literally see right there he's now trying to drag in people from the Has-Been Hotel fanbase into his crusade knowing that they know little information about Gabe and will initially fall for his false narrative. It's just some absolutely deranged stuff, man. Now, I know y'all already see that Bonk is a very mentally unwell man, but I want to show y'all this particular interaction he had once he got access back to the Twitter account to really show you how brain broken he is and that his word is to not be trusted. A Twitter user named Miss Paper Rabbit will make a reply saying how the account was taken away from him because he baited his life and obsesses over people online. That is a true statement as we've seen already, yet Bonk will say that didn't happen at all, blatantly lying to this person for some reason. Rabbit would make a reply confused and ask if Sophie lied about doing all that, and Bonk, instead of understanding the conversation is about Sophie and not Saber, would then reply to them as if Rabbit was talking about Saber being a liar in what is a bizarre example of either projection or a lack of understanding very basic social cues. Rabbit would reply back saying they aren't talking about Saber and instead Sophie, and despite clarifying this, Bonk would then try to twist it on them saying how Sophie taking away access from the account isn't relevant when that was literally the reason this conversation started to begin with. He just can't understand that either because of his obsession with taking out Gabe and Saber or because of his severe mental instability. It was entertaining watching this go down, and though it's starting to get to the point where I feel a tiny bit bad as it's clear the dude can't function on his own and needs a handler, given the slander campaign he and Sophie have been running, I don't exactly feel that bad for him. I also find it funny that Sophie's trying to wipe her hands clean of everything by letting Bonk take the reins alone now when she was vital to all this going down as well, but this type of sleaziness ain't nothing new on the channel, it's just fun to watch the facade crumble apart.
Okay, testing this one last time. Hey.
As y'all can tell, this story about the allegations towards Saberspark's way quickly turned into one of the biggest rabbit holes I've gone through in a minute. It turns out the people going at him didn't actually care about what he supposedly did to Emu Emmy. They just wanted revenge as they had ulterior motives in mind and saw an opportunity to drag him into their mess. KP wanted Saber to fire Chris, and when he didn't do that, she instead ran this story as a way to get back at him. Bonk and Sophie wanted him gone because he associates with Gabe, and they too also saw this as an opportunity to get at him. Their lack of honesty and their true reasons to go after Saber is what caused everything to crumble apart after KP's disastrous video, and so this now leads us back to the Gabe stuff. If you ask me personally, I think the reason Bonk was going after Gabe was simply mental instability. I think what happened was he saw a fishy looking case and jumped to incorrect conclusions, but whenever people tell him he was wrong or things weren't as clear cut as he says, he'd just spin it back on him or ignore him because he's too far gone in that broken mind of his. As for Sophie, I have no idea. Maybe she truly does believe she's doing the right thing by borderline slandering somebody and dragging others into her mess. I don't really know and I can't really tell, but she's clearly more calculated than Bonk over there as we've seen from all this. Now as for Ian Corlett, he's probably the only one who actually has a right to say he believes that Gabe groomed his daughter given that's, you know, his own daughter. But the lack of evidence beyond just them hanging out and him only willing to do this through an alt account shows that even he's not confident enough to say it through his own public image, which if you ask me, is an important piece of evidence that Gabe didn't groom Claire at all. As if the father himself who has been around Gabe many times before can't even find anything to use against him without putting his own public image at risk. Neither can Bonk or Sophie. Also, just thought to make this clear, Ian was working on his own and is not involved in anybody else mentioned in this video. Figured to point that out just in case people get confused. Shout out to my channel members for helping support my content, and shout out to my bestie tier members Wrath Wolin, Nami, Cody, Laura Hertzman, Cheems, Daniel, Mystical GB, Hyper aka V, and Trendy Dragon. Go check out my Patreon and YouTube memberships if you want to support me yourself in the description below, and I hope you join as soon as you can. What started as just a simple case slowly turned into a giant clusterfuck of twisted narratives and manipulation that all stem from false allegations. Saberspark is innocent and Gabe didn't groom Claire as far as the evidence for both shows so far. However, Gabe still seems creepy with those DeviantArt posts coming to light. If someone wants to do their own investigation into that, feel free. I don't care to dig into it because that wasn't part of any of the Claire stuff and that's the focus of this video. It was just another attempt at throwing shit at the wall until it sticks. And this time it seems to have stuck as it's clearly creepy stuff straight up. It's unfortunate that Gabe and Saber had to deal with this small dent to their careers based on all this, but this video and many others going into everything should set the record straight. Unless some crazy stuff comes out in a—
Okay, all I need to do now is find a way to like send the poll from any of the platforms to social stream.
Future, it's safe to say both these cases are done for, and if any of that crazy stuff indeed does come out, I'll be on the case as always.
I was gonna joke and say 6 out of 10 wouldn't change a thing, because that's like a meme from something that I care about. But I didn't feel like explaining the joke, you know? That felt like kind of weird to explain the whole joke first, you know? I don't know, man.
Just when you thought you'd finally seen all of the degeneracy disgusting YouTubers could ever cook up in their cursed kitchen, you get jump scared by a new outrageous, heinous act committed by a YouTuber. In the words of Qui-Gon Jinn, there's always a bigger fish, and in this case, that fish is evil. There is a new evil action that a YouTuber just proudly engaged in that I just learned about today. This comes from the true crime community. This comes from a YouTuber named Zavgirl, who charged people on Patreon for access to autopsy photos of a murdered 11-year-old boy.
Holy shit, brother. Chroma key? Ooh, chroma key. Yasin Dieters. Custom color? Black. What's it like now? Oh. Similarity? None. Smoothness? None. Key spill reduction? None. Everything else? Good to fucking go.
Boy, that is some morally demented shit right there that would have a demon cringing. Now, Zavgirl is refuting some of these claims and even released her own apology video explaining her side of the situation. Just a quick side note, apology videos have become 2023's Harlem Shake. This is a massive flood of apology videos that we've gotten in just like the last month. If YouTuber apologies were a stock option and you invested back in January of this year, you'd be a millionaire by now. It is crazy just how often this is happening. Now, her apology video might not feature a ukulele, but it's still just as shitty. But before really diving into that, I want to give a general overview of the situation. Zavgirl is a true crime YouTuber, and she had just recently dove into the case of an 11-year-old boy named Gannon who was brutally murdered by his stepmother, Letitia Stouch. And it is just unbelievably disturbing. The mother is on trial now, which I imagine is why Zavgirl wanted to start talking about it since it's now unfolding in court. I don't really want to get into the specifics of the case. Basically, the stepmother tortured the son, stabbed him a ton of times, shot him in the head, and then stuffed his corpse into a suitcase and started to pretend like he was missing. So she told the authorities all kinds of different stories, like he didn't come home after going to a friend's house. Then she even came up with some kind of fucking wild narrative about how someone that was fixing her carpet ended up raping her and then abducting the child. So she got caught lying a ton of times. Eventually, investigators found blood on her shoes and in her car as well as in Gannon's room, and then her DNA on a gun that was linked to Gannon's death. So they caught her and realized that she was responsible for Gannon's murder. So Zavgirl followed the Letitia Stouch case and said that she had recently made an official records request, which is something I didn't even know you could do as just like an average Joe Schmo. I had no fucking clue that any goofball goober could just ask and get sensitive files like she received. I guess I'm just very...
I mean, to be fair, a goofball goober can do a lot of stuff. It's kind of wild.
Naive to what you're able to ask for, but I feel like those kind of things should only be made accessible to the victim's family as well as like official sources, not just YouTubers. But that, I mean, that's just me, I guess, speaking as a goddamn Neanderthal who I guess doesn't understand how things work here. That was surprising, but she said that she had made an official records request and then received all of these documents, which she posted on her Patreon. I'll go ahead and play this clip from her apology video where she tries to explain that this is a little misleading. She wasn't just charging for autopsy photos, she was actually charging for everything, which included autopsy photos.
I have followed the Letitia Stout case closely, and it was actually during the trial that I made the official records request. And it was in El Paso County in Colorado. I requested all the video, audio, and written records. I made no request for autopsy photos. I wanted all trial records, but my main interests were interviews with Letitia. The autopsy photos just happened to be in the files.
Not exactly the slam dunk you think it is here. You still did charge for all of this sensitive information, which does include the autopsy photographs, as you mentioned. I'll be extremely charitable here. I'll really throw you a bone and assume you're telling the truth that you didn't specifically seek out autopsy photos. You still got them, and you still published them, and you still charged for them on your Patreon. They were a component of what you were charging your audience for. You legitimately set up basically a booth in your Patreon where you could go in and look at photos of a dead child and learn everything that happened to him with the murder. How do you not recognize how incredibly fucked up that is? That is bafflingly evil. I understand desensitization is a real thing, right? Doctors get desensitized to gore and blood. Gamers get desensitized to being insulted in video games over Xbox Live. I get it, but I just don't understand how someone could ever reach the point where they're desensitized to the brutal murder
a large
of a
language
child,
model here to
and
chat
so
with you.
desensitized
What's on
to
your
the
mind
fact that
today?
you're going to charge people access to
What's
it.
on your mind?
Other depraved
Is everything
fucking
working
people
as
that for some
expected?
reason want to pay money to see
Is there anything
photos
specific
of
you
a
would like to
dead
test?
child.
Is it this
So
button?
again, even if your primary goal wasn't to get
Okay, it's that
autopsy
button.
photographs,
Cool
you
beans.
did receive them, you did publish them, and you charged an admission fee for people to look at.
Hi, we're going to do two cool things. First, I'm going to see if I can pester this to like offload some data to deal with moderation for me.
Them. You were making money off of showing people someone's dead child.
I know, right?
How can you not recognize the complete absence of humanity and complete lack of empathy? She was also just giddy with excitement that she got her hands on all of this in the first place. Here's a community post that she hasn't deleted. Well, and I think she has deleted other ones, but I'll get to that in a moment. But she said, "Hey, you all, so I got a bunch of Letitia Stouch case files I'm going to be releasing. So there's some new videos and info, and also some videos they played in court, but the quality wasn't the best. So I have the originals where it's not a recording of a crooked TV screen. LOL. So if you're interested, keep your eyes out for my videos. I'm going to get them out as fast as I can. There's some that might take me longer because, for instance, all the text messages, I like to read them for you, so those will take me some time, but I'm going to try to get them out as soon as I can." Just a quick side note, she sucks fuck at writing. I guess she just doesn't believe in grammar.
Bless.
There wasn't a single comma to be had in this entire statement. It made it very difficult to read. It was just one long, random, vomited, evil thought that she put on the community tab here, with random capitalization of random words. I guess, you know, her pinky gets really excited and just slaps the shift key down mid-sentence sometimes to capitalize a random fucking word. But anyway, you can see the excitement here in this post. She is elated, celebrating like it's Christmas now that she has these records, because she's going to get a lot of content out of the records for her Patreon and for her YouTube audience as well. She was fucking roaring to go.
Free content.
And then she did. And she faced backlash even from her own community. So in the article I read about this situation, they referenced some of her community posts that I can no longer find. I don't know if they were deleted. So I just wanted to put that out there that...
How are you doing? We're being creeps and staring at the internet while I automate stream stuff again. I'm back in the mood to want to do so. So we're putting stuff in Docker. We're automating what we can. We're moving the moderation to StreamerBot and Social Stream. And we're unifying everything cozily. How are you? What's your day like? What are you up to? We're going to play a game soon. I do have an unused poll on atop my head right now.
These are no longer on her channel.
Yes, I do.
But according to this article, she addressed the criticism in a lengthy statement saying, the reality of the situation is that different people feel differently about this. Some people genuinely think making a video including the autopsy photos is bad, and I respect their opinion and feelings.
It's nice to see you.
Other people, like myself, think of autopsy photos.
And it's lovely to know you. I need to fix the...
and the coroner discussing, explaining them as interesting and informative, and are able to view it all in a more scientific, detached way. It's just one of those things where it depends on the person. Hey, Zav.
Did not hear that yet.
Girl, let me hit you with some cold water real quick.
Thank you for letting me know.
If you're the kind of person that looks at photos of a dead child and goes over the details on how they were brutally tortured and...
You can either be the body farm, a paid detective, or on a list of one of the two above bodies or their overseeing bodies. So the FBI or the local police. Yes.
Murdered, and think to yourself, this is good content. This content's a fucking banger. This is going on Patreon right now. I'm gonna get fucking paid for this shit. Let's go. Then you're a bad person. That's the kind of person you are. You are an evil piece of shit person is what you are. This isn't like some kind of debatable position. This isn't a hot take for me. I don't know how she even thinks that there is a large number of people that think like her where, oh, we actually just look at photos of dead, murdered children in a scientific, analytical way. As we could learn from this, like, oh, look at that. Stabbed 1,000 times. This is very interesting. I'm giving that an updoot, and here's $5. Thanks for showing me this. That's not common. She literally dropped a, I'm sorry you feel that way, over this whole situation in her community tab, I guess. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. And this is something I've always wondered about from the true crimes community, if there's ever any actual empathy for victims from channels like hers. I know that there are some true crime productions that actually aim to do good by trying to solve cold cases, and I think there is like a legitimate effort to do something there that's more than just exploitative, whereas what Zavgirl does here is legitimately just exploitative. She is trying to capitalize off the trauma of the...
Okay, I hate to interrupt this part, and I feel like very rude. Just so you know why I'm a little bit distracted. I'm trying to unify the chat for TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, X, Kick. I'm trying to have it all unified cozy-like, and I refuse to give up until it's done.
This family and make money from it for her true crime channel. I actually don't know how she sleeps at night. According to the article, the community post continued and it went into her denying that the autopsy footage that she distributed showed genitalia. She said, I understand some of you have issues with me charging money on my Patreon for the video. If I was charging money for the autopsy files alone or something like that, I think I'd see your point. But in this case, I spent a lot of time and worked hard putting together...
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. I don't really care. Honestly, the next one is Steam. The big thing for me is being able to stream to TikTok right now. Like, I had to reapply for it because I didn't use it last time, so I actually am really glad I did. I just don't post any short-form content. I need to have my feet carried to editing for some reason.
A video lining up the coroner's audio and descriptions along with the appropriate part of the photos she is describing and editing it editing it together to try and make it as informative as possible for the viewer. That's what I'm charging for. Which I would...
But I do like that we're streaming on the other platforms. I have a lot of fun with that. Like, I honestly think it's pretty cool. How do I say this? I think it's really fun. I'm glad we've done it. I have no regrets. I keep trying to encourage other people to multi-stream, especially in the world we're in, where things are not that great, you know?
Hope you can agree is understandable. Zavgirl, I don't agree. It's not understandable. I completely disagree. Basically, what you're describing here is you made an autopsy photo montage where you synced up the photos of a murdered child's body with the coroner's explanation on how they were murdered and died. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I don't know why you think that that's effort worthy of compensation or why you think that what you did is a good thing. This isn't informative by any means. You're not like a documentary filmmaker that's paying respect to the victims' families or anything like that. This is the most disrespectful shit ever. Like this is beyond reprehensible. If you were aiming to create an informative video about the situation, why do you need the photos to accompany it? You could just have the coroner's explanation of it. You don't need the photos there. Clearly the reason you had them there is because you knew people would maybe pay for morbid curiosity to see a murdered child, because there are some sick fucks in the world. That was clearly the intention behind having the photos there. Like, there's no other argument you can make for it, because again, if you wanted to just make a piece of content that was supposed to outline the horrors of this case, you could do that without showcasing the child's body. That's basic common sense. But I want to make it clear, even if you never published the autopsy photos, I still think what you did was exploitative and disrespectful to the victim and the victim's family. What you did here is not just provide details to a case to try and educate people on something horrible that happened or anything. You turned this case into a spectacle for your community to, like, give you impressions and engagement on. The goal of what you did here does not seem to be information or anything like that. The goal from you seems to have tried to be like a piece of entertainment about it, which is so fucked up.
I didn't think any of the images were new. These photos were already public, although the video I put together with the coroner's voice was my own creation. I chose to put the video on Patreon because of the sensitive nature of the evidence. Putting the evidence behind a paywall meant added security, and I naively thought they wouldn't be made public.
Well, that was certainly a dumb thing to listen.
But then I'm not trying to rag on them just for that as a Blake thing. I know that some people think Facebook is private, and we're still to this day pushing really hard to like convince people and remind them that no, it's not. It's like you think it is, but it's really not. You treat it that way, but that doesn't make it so. And I entirely accept that to this very day, this is a thing we as a people struggle with each other. And so, you know, like, oops, that's wild. It's a lot to deal with. Scary. 511 and then 6 something. Oh, 362. Okay, I can count.
And 2, putting it on Patreon is still making the information public. You took private information and you published it on Patreon. A paywall does not mean that it's still private. It is easily accessible to anyone that wants to fork over a few doubloons to access it. Thus, the information is no longer private.
The video I created with a voice from the coroner,
what did I just do?
Wasn't meant to be shared outside of Patreon. And I chose not to put the photos on YouTube, a public forum, where the views would have allowed me to make more money, and the photos would be seen by more people.
Wow, you're such a saint. What an angel. She took a pay cut by only posting the murdered child autopsy photos on Patreon behind a paywall there, instead of posting it on YouTube, which I don't think you could even do on YouTube to begin with. What?
I mean, you could do it under autopsy and possibly get away with it, honestly. Like, not to encourage this action, because I really don't want to. But let's be honest, you could label it as an educational bit of materia, and I do believe at that point you can get away with it. Shouldn't do that.
Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about here?
Because the video was placed behind a paywall, rumors about the images not being blurred or being different than what was shown in trial started to surface. No photos shows genitalia. I have made no jokes about the photos. I don't even cuss on my channel, and I would never allow derogatory remarks about a victim. I realized my intentions were not communicated well.
This is deflecting. It's not your intentions that people were questioning. The entire act of what you did here is a problem. It is disgusting what you did. It has nothing to do with your motivation behind doing it. The fact you did it at all is the problem. There's no intention that justifies it. There just isn't. There isn't an argument you can make that will, in any way, shape, or form, make it seem reasonable to have published the autopsy photos in any capacity, or made all of those private documents accessible through anyone that pays directly to you for the information. And again, even if you did make all of this publicly accessible without a paywall, releasing all of this kind of shit, the autopsy photos, coroner stuff, all of that, I still think it is exploitative because you are capitalizing off of it. I still think there wasn't really a good explanation for anything you did in this whole situation. So it has nothing to do with your fucking intentions. There is nothing you could have done that would have made this understandable in any capacity. So, yeah. She then goes on to say that her Patreon did get shut down for it, which sounds about right. That makes a lot of sense considering what she posted on there. And yeah, that's kind of the whole situation in a nutshell. That's about it. See ya.
Wow. Hyperbolic equivalency fallacies is what I said that it seems like our little zeitgeist is diving to a bit ago. I'm gonna hold by that and say it does seem like that's the case. Hyperbolic equivalency fallacies. Okay, hold on. I'm almost done with everything I wanted to do for the stream, so we're about to go gaming in a second. That's super exciting for me.
My fucking cock.
He sits there in a cuck chair. He's sitting way back in the corner.
Okay, listen, he wanted to show up.
I'm chilling.
Yeah, he's chilling. And also, he's not even as relevant as a dog shit that I would step on the side of the road. To literally look at these dudes and go, oh no, they're fucking barbaric baboons. And don't laugh at his fucking stupid ass.
Don't make me he bitch man slap you.
Fucking dumbass. I'm so mad. I got mad.
Yeah, you've been getting mad.
Oh,
a lot.
Fuck.
He angry.
I can't believe you don't shut up.
You
He
little
an angry
freak.
bitch.
You little monstrous cretin.
Okay.
Suck my fucking cock from the back.
Is this okay? So I can reset the queue. Can I like multiple enter myself so I can test this better? I don't know. I wonder. That would be wild. That would be bananas. See, now it's in a weird place. It's not like in the most easy to see place out there. Oh well, I'll tidy it up. Yeah, I'll tidy it. There we go. I think that counts as tidied up. I think. Maybe. Okay, cool. That counts as a little bit less lame. Not that I know why. I don't know what the wait list is for yet. We're working on that. That's just there. Okay, last thing before I go play video games. Let's find something short. I've had fun messing with stream stuff because I like making our stream better than it was yesterday. Even if I'm bad and I suck, I still like having fun. I still like, wait, did he drop it? Yo, did he do this? Hold up, do you have timestamps? Dan for the win, let's go.
Idea for a show I'm gonna do over the break. Ethan Klein channel. Oh, you guys are gonna love this. Reacting to every old content cop. And I'll tell you why. You get banned. Well, I'm gonna censor the. I'm not gonna do the N words and the F words and all that. I'll censor that part. But the reason is I was watching one of his old content.
There we
cops,
go.
Specifically the one about Jinx.
Pacific Island.
And it's been, I don't know, a decade plus since I saw that video.
30.
And I was blown away by how fucking racist that video was. And like homophobic, dropping slurs like crazy, and not funny at all. It was just, he was just very mean. Wait. And there was no jokes. And my theory, seeing what Ian, how unfunny and bad he is now, is that
29 pixels.
Maybe we were all just young and he was never funny. And so I'm going back to review the catalog and kind of reassess.
That'll have
historically,
to work.
Dan's coming over. Oh, Dan is passionate about this project because he's a day one iDubbbz hater, yeah?
Day one? Shout out to my day ones.
Not
I would be horrified.
iDubbbz hater, yeah?
To have Dan in a mood to be critical of some bullshit.
Day one? Shout out to my day ones.
Not a fan of his work. I've never been a fan. Yeah. So going back, I think. Yeah.
You could call it what we do here is go back.
You might.
What we do here is go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I'm going to call it? Content cop. See?
Content code.
This is what actual funny looks like and sounds like.
Content cop.
Okay,
Yeah.
when
That's high level
when
stuff.
you learn what a joke is, Ian, you go ahead and let me know, and we can talk.
I don't know. I have thoughts.
Yeah, no, I doubt it.
That's a good question.
So I was shocked, and I think everyone would be shocked. I just
Wait, no. His wife has thoughts because his wife has him. And his wife gets to use him like a tool.
How?
You know, there are other tools out there. One of my favorite tools being the common farming hoe.
Insanely bad, racist, homophobic, awful it is. It's awful. You know, and the great irony of the Jinx one is Jinx was a guy who was mass reacting to stuff and just he wasn't really adding anything. He was just stealing people's content and sitting there and watching and uploading it.
Okay.
And at the time, we're all like, yo, this is freebooting, this is theft, all this stuff. But now
I'm here for the one chapter segment.
Ian,
Just
all
the
of his
one.
best friends on Twitch, Hassan, Denims, Frogan, I don't know what Sean the Black does. Is he on Twitch?
Wake up. I don't know. I'm not just saying that to like.
I don't know.
I
no.
don't have an answer for you.
Well, anyway, this is what they do all day, is they steal content.
Like Sniper Wolf style? Like
Yeah.
Okay.
Sniper Wolf. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they don't do attribution. Like, we at least have timestamps. When our VOD goes in, like, we have timestamps that are meticulously put together with everything we reacted to, with at least a time set offset if it's a video, so people can get back to it. Like, they don't put it in the descriptions of the VODs. They don't put it in chat all the time. Sometimes you have to, like, go to someone's stream, hope it's not full screen YouTube, or hope that you can get a frame when they pause to copy the name of a video to find it by name, and then hope that you can go from there, because that's, like, about it, you know? That's it.
Sniper Wolf.
Okay, just phones it in.
So I just find it interesting that now he's friends with these people.
Sean the Black is on Twitch. We've confirmed.
He is on Twitch.
Ethan, wake up.
To what capacity is he on Twitch?
I don't know what that question means.
Well, if anyone's watching, are you really there?
I see.
Right.
I see.
If
a streamer goes live on Twitch and there's no one to watch it, do they exist?
No.
Deep
I
question.
mean, then again, as a one viewer Andy, I think I'm the most qualified to answer this. Yes, because they're still accountable for what they say, but no, because no one gives a shit.
Thank you. I was really thinking about watching that Jinx one on the show. It is devastating. Like, you will never look at him the
I'm a
same.
winner.
Sounds fun.
Oh, and the other thing was I was watching an interview
I'm a
with
winner.
Ian, and he issued all of these apologies to people, but he never apologized directly to Jinx. And after watching that video, and now he's friends with all these people that he was criticizing him for, I feel like he owes Jinx a bigger apology than anyone other than Tana and the likes, because super racist, super mean, and now it's something that he apparently doesn't even have a problem with. You know? Thanks for listening. So anyway, content cop. Stand back and stand by over the break.
You're so funny.
Shut up. Yeah, you're gonna find me real funny when I start this series.
I have feelings.
No, you don't. Where else are we at? Let's see here. Oh, the Leggings King. This guy was on my feed. I love him.
Oh boy.
I don't even know what to say about this dude.
Yeah, me either.
So this guy, he has leggings that he's trying to sell.
Okay.
And he loves them. Tell me what you think.
Oh, it's this dude. Oh, no, wait, is it not? Hold on. Is this the dude that talks about meggings or some bullshit? Yeah, meggings. It's the fucking meggings person. Okay, we're locked in for part 2 now, I guess. Now we're just officially freebooting. Oops.
Bold looks,
sorry.
endless combos.
Is there volume? Or...
As you can see,
I didn't mean to, I'm sorry.
Let me go back.
Be edgy.
I apologize.
I had to remove the music.
The meggings person breaks me. Like, fundamentally and as a person, their shit upsets me. I'm sorry. Like, sucks to be them, but, like, check it out, right? So here's what the fuck happens. Okay. So how do I put this? You have to fucking see. It's fine.
Okay.
There's no way to fucking put this. It's wild.
Music, that was just...
He wasn't. There was no him talking.
As you can see,
Oh.
black can be bold, it can be edgy, or it can be soft. Play around and show what you can do.
They look like superhero pants.
This is insane pants. That is insane pants. It's like the lower half of a gimp suit. And then he's just calling it pants.
It's true.
Sometimes you have to get glamorous.
I mean, it's like the lower part of the gimp part, suit part is whatever. Who the fuck cares? The part that destroys me is calling it meggings and putting together outfits that clearly don't work. That's the part that pisses me off a little bit, I think.
Is this glam?
Like, as a fashion soulsy person,
Bold
take it
looks,
from me.
endless combos.
This man is leaving nothing to the imagination. It's a good thing he's wearing like a long shirt because there's no shot that his dick and balls are not on full display.
Your balls come out? This is so shiny. So he said, let's get Ethan a pair of these. I agree.
Okay, fuck it. I'll try them on.
They're meggings, Ethan.
Meggings?
Somebody, yeah.
Leather meggings, please.
Leather meggings.
I just can't.
I mean, is that... I don't even think it was leather. It was like vinyl or something.
Latex or something?
Latex, yeah.
Wait, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox are having a baby?
Yeah,
They had a
baby,
right.
and I would like you to please guess what their baby's
Oh, I can make
name
my own
is.
polls.
Jeez, how could I
Oh,
guess?
okay, I see what to do now.
Exactly.
Something
insane.
insane.
Should I give the same clue
Sounds
I gave
like
you?
I can do that.
Hold on.
Nice. I can make them a command.
Bro.
We got this.
You found the
Easy.
perfect leggings?
Pull this up.
Easy. Easy.
We'll get back to Machine... We got to
Turning
do
it off.
Machine Gun Kelly, but...
Kapow meggings. Oh,
found them.
this is them.
This is them.
Wait, $110?
Isn't this
Dude, we gotta order these for you.
Hold on. Isn't this not like a fetish thing?
I mean, I don't like being subjected to random strangers on the internet's fetishes without my consent, so I'd hope not. But it possibly is.
Because this is not
I don't
normal
trust
pants.
people.
Look at this picture closely.
Many uses.
I don't
Also,
want to
why
look
is
at
he
that
shirtless?
closely.
Why wouldn't you be?
I guess.
Why would
Show
you
the
be?
pants.
Showing off the pants, dude.
No kidding.
It's definitely
Right?
some fetish.
It has
I'm gonna
to
come
be.
out and say it with my heart.
Dude, if you saw someone walking around in
my-
these, you would do a double take like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, like sweet pants.
Why is he... What is,
He looks like the chest
Wow.
demon.
Oh, the way it punches up.
he looks like Catwoman.
It looks so uncomfortable.
I'll bet you it's super comfy.
No,
Are you
God.
joshing?
I
It
can't
looks like
believe
stretchy
it.
fabric.
But if you're a guy, that can't be.
Yeah.
Doesn't look
Like,
that... That's...
I'll bet
I've never been a shiny leggings person.
you it's super comfy.
No,
Are you
God.
Like, I just don't
Wow.
care. I refuse. I
It
don't
looks
want
like
to.
stretchy fabric.
But if you're a guy, that can't be.
I
It
refuse.
doesn't look that stretchy.
Well, should I order you a pair?
Yeah, I'll take a pair.
What, medium?
$100, huh?
That's crazy.
It's worth it.
I feel like that's something
It's not
Tim
worth it.
Chalamet would wear. He's been like exploring
No way.
lately.
This is like streetwear. This is craziness. Why do they call it
those,
slick?
so next time I bring you a muffin, I'm gonna dress like this.
Oh, they have red ones.
Yeah, give me the red ones.
You want the red ones?
And blue. No, I want the black ones. Those are the black ones? Insane.
Those are the coolest.
Yeah, they're insane.
Okay, I'm
should I
adding
get,
the
medium?
cart right now.
I guess medium.
Let's get them in here.
Size guide. Let me see.
Yeah, exciting.
I need
Yeah,
to
medium.
find the
How
pole
tall are you
overlay
again? So I can
and
make
turn
sure to
it
get the
off
right one.
really
What
fast.
does height have to do with your waist?
I started the thing.
5'9" and 3/4 or something.
No, it's
I
weight.
believe it was 5'9" and 3/4. Yeah.
Well, that means you're gay.
Well, I'm in this range, so Dan, whatever you.
Yeah, right at
So-
5'9"
so medium?
and 3/4.
No kidding.
Why the fuck does it matter how tall you are?
Because
the
of
length.
the inseam.
But then what are you supposed to do if you're just like a brown
Welcome,
gentleman? Can you
welcome
get these seam?
to
I guess
lots of
suffer,
people's world
right?
where they have a hard time finding clothes that fit them.
That was me. That was my world.
Yeah, right. You know.
Okay, cool.
But
It's gone.
can you get these hemmed? Bring this to the tailor.
And
Throw them on in the changing room.
Yeah, can you take a couple inches
if
off
we
the
switch
bottom
seams
here?
twice,
I've seen some people in the chat saying you should get
others
the
cleared
red
up too.
But the black is funnier, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Red
The
it
red
is.
ones almost look normal.
Well, I
Wow.
don't even
No.
Okay, all done.
Wait, what? No,
I
don't.
do think they look more.
They look more
They're
normal
way
than the
crazier.
black.
I'm sorry.
The black, dude. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Me neither.
I don't know if that's his
I don't
ass
wanna
or his
know.
dick.
I don't want to know.
What are we looking at
Who
here?
knows, dude?
That's
Don't ask.
of some kind.
Yeah, don't ask. Actually,
Don't ask.
Or is it arm? No,
it looks
it's not.
like a hot dog.
You Jessel.
Jeez, that is just not even flattering, though.
Oh, now I actually don't know. It's not a lot of definition.
I think black is the crazier one, personally.
Oh, okay.
Because the black, like,
we'll get you what you like.
See everything in the black one.
The black ones are very, very revealing.
And it's shiny. It's ridiculous.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Okay. All right, let's try them on, folks.
So how do you get them? What's the fabric and care tab telling you?
Oh my gosh, please.
Fabric
Yeah,
and
tell me
care.
about the
Squint your
Windex.
Where did you see that?
Go down.
Right, it was right.
It's
on,
in the drop downs.
There you go.
Fabric and Care. Premium high gloss vinyl fabric with a liquid shine. 92%
You've got to be
recycled
shitting me.
polyester made from post-consumer plastic.
Okay, green.
Suitable for everyday
Line dry in shade. Avoid contact with other vinyl, leather clothing. Color transfer or staining can occur.
wear and parties. I'm sorry, but
What, it's
No,
not
that's
suitable
true.
for parties?
You could wear that
What
to
specific kind
every
of
day
parties?
or parties.
Yeah.
suitable for everyday wear. That's the part that,
Not
that threw me
suitable
off.
Yeah,
for
the everyday
workouts.
wear is the more question. The parties one actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Hold on, they're carving it out here. Not suitable for workouts.
No.
Well, they're
Sweaty
just letting
ass.
you know
Yeah,
it's
it'll get
fucking
sweat
sweaty as
everywhere.
fucking
You'll
things.
get chafing. It'll be
8%
disgusting.
spandex, so they're a little stretchy.
Yeah.
Cold hand, guys. Cold hand wash. 1 to 2 drops of mild
It's
detergent.
called tilt, not
1 to 2
pan.
drops.
Doesn't sound like a lot enough.
Yeah,
1 to 2 drops. Is that right?
it's very, very minimal. So okay, ships in 24 hours. So I need these urgently.
Yes.
Wait, we're going on break. I'm not gonna get these till we're back, probably.
For our debut.
All right, I'll be back looking good.
You can try them on during the break.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing squats
Hold on.
over break.
Weirdly, not the first time we've come back from a break and you've been wearing leather pants.
That's
Wait, what?
actually very true.
What are you referring to?
JoJo.
When he dressed up like JoJo. That was that for a
Come back
break.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Bizarre
when you were decked
Adventure
out in the
or
JoJo.
Siwa?
All right. What time is it?
Okay, cool. We have sat there more than long enough. We're good. If my computer crashes, it's because I've been struggling to optimize something, and you can hate me later, and that's totally fine. But you know what you should do? Not hate me. In case it crashes, we'll go out with a bang. There's an important little jam. Just so we remember our place, you know? We're rendering with all of our rendering capabilities. You might as well call it wandering.
Down there in your sunken city,
But I
you're a
am
billion light years distant, and the stars look very pretty from here. So close and yet so far away. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Thulu for Thagan, or is that Thulu for thine? I can never quite remember, 'cause I'm not in my right mind since I met you.
Game
No
launched.
one corrupts the way you do. You know it's true. Oh, it's what you'll do to me. Oh, and all humanity.
It's starting.
Oh, you'll rise up
You'd
from
see
the sea.
if you were, you know,
Kill everyone slowly.
not subject to the bullshit that I put you
Like
through.
me. Hey there, Cthulhu. I've been studying your gospel.
Loading.
The Necronomicon, it gives me nightmares. Something awful where
Oof.
I see
It just errored out. That's wild.
the death
There's my
of
browser.
all
There it is. There we go. Don't report.
fills me with
I think it's my fault still. It's definitely my fault. Hold on.
And when the
That's
stars are right, you'll come and do your
Benaries
worst.
here.
But that's okay because I know you
Pull
eat
everything.
the cultists like me first when
Properties.
you get here.
Verify. Close.
I know that day is
When?
drawing near. I have no
bait the world. I need water. Can I AFK to this?
It's what you do to me.
I think I have to.
And all humanity.
My running shoes are finally breaking down. Little aside.
Oh, you'll rise up from the sea. Oh, kill everyone slowly, except the ones like me. A billion light years seem so far beneath the seas, beyond the stars of this human's putrid soul. You drink your fill. The fools will all make fun of me, but I'll just laugh maniacally, because no one's ever suffered like they will. Cthulhu, I can promise you that by the time this call gets through, the world will never ever be the same. Praise your dark name. Flui maglunath Cthulhu rilye wamna fathagan. Boy, that's really quite a mouthful. Can't quite cram it in my noggin, not today. I'll try to say it anyway. Still lie away that righteous day. I feel my soul begin to fray. Thulu Calais. Oh, it's what you do to me. Oh, and all humanity. Oh, you'll rise up from the sea. Oh, kill everyone slowly, everyone but me. Hey there, Cthulhu, down there in your sunken city. You're a billion light years distant, and the stars look very pretty from Relief. So close and yet so far away. Yeah, yeah. Thulu Fathagan, or is that Thulu Fathine? I can never quite remember, 'cause I'm not in my right mind since I met you. No one corrupts the way you do. You know it's true. Oh, it's what you'll do to me. Oh, and all humanity. Oh, you'll rise up from the sea. Oh, kill everyone slowly, except the ones like me.
I almost walked back with my dress
Hey
tucked
there,
into my undies. Holy
I've
shit.
been studying
That would have
your
been a fucking
gospel,
chaotic mess.
the Necronomicon. It
You got all you're getting. We're launching the game again. If it fails, but we're trying. It's what we got. It's what we're doing. Trying. It's what's for dinner. I think. Maybe. Ooh, I saw Dark Souls content. That was about to be exciting. Oh well. We have this. Hmm? Come on. Love us. There we go. Morning. How are you doing? It's nice to know ya. Nice to see ya. Nice to know ya. Hope you're well. Come on. Input. Work. Come on. Ooh. Okay, that. Oops, sorry. That's sick. It's the good sport. There's a lot of good sports, but it's a fun one. On the second to last boss, I think. I reinstalled the game really fast. Oops, let me switch it to controller, of course. Tools, input overlay, blacklist, not whitelist. Okay. Owie. Sorry. I have a dress with pockets on today, which is disorientingly helpful. Oh, well. Giving her a place to learn where she's comfortable, being enough uncomfortable to learn to the extent of even going out and starting, is pretty huge. Thank you for looking out for the youth. I'm proud of you. Wait, what? I highly doubt that this map marker is helpful. I feel like it's a farce. Yeah, hold on. Oh no, it actually is trying to lure me to the door. Okay, I'm not in the mood. I could, but I'm not in the mood to. Hold on. I need to like pick between the featured, which isn't helpful, and there we go. Now it's just on top of me, chat. That's a lot more easy. I'm doing stream maintenance stuff today. At long last. It takes time. It takes time doing possibly the wrong thing to even train ourselves into the helpful thing. It's all fine. Just keep at it, bruh. Oops. Wrong. I'll take the regen, but I needed the actual health up while I could. There's a lot of the moveset I don't know how to deal with yet. I think it's the second to last fight. It's got a lot of convenient pickup stuff, so you can effectively farm it like the end of Dark Souls, when you have all of the Black Knights. You know, the ones that marched with Gwen. At the end of Tepforge, or the Kiln, you have them, like, you effectively have, like, crates, which serve a similar purpose. They're giving us, like, hold on, 90 lingering potions, 24 biotic fields, and most of the 45, most of all of these stacks have been just from breaking boxes as we move. Endgame is, like, hooking us up. And we do keep this stuff when we go from endgame to the final, or to new game. So there's a solid chance I'm gonna collect everything, like, to a point of it being a problem. And then we're gonna move to new game. Like, after I collect all the things that we can. I missed some story stuff. I missed some lockouts. I'm still bad at timing this, as we can all see. Oof, I knew I had to sidestep that. Okay, no, I'm still really bad at dealing with, like, the orange glowing move, the basic one, that I shouldn't be so... There's a way to deal with this, and it's really practical, and we're all gonna hate this. Well, I'm not gonna hate this. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. We have to enter the perfect dodge training. I've been just going into the random trainings and just actually working on certain combos. Okay, completely evades attack upon successful perfect dodge. Okay. Because we're sitting on a lot more damage if I get this down. Like a shitload of damage. Oops. Oh, early. And I knew it was a nervous one. I mean... Sorry, I finally looked over. A lot of things claim to be vegan. Like, vegan teacher, vegan games, and vegan patriot. I'm kind of dogging on them for, like, going out to harm people, not the rest of their shit, right? Like, this is clearly me being miffed. That they go out of their way to be, like, unkind to people, not, like, anything else. See? I'm just gonna work on it. I'm just bad at something. We've been sitting on a lot of damage. I can't look at the skill UI in here. I'd have to leave it to do that. But I'm kind of getting that a lot of the combos are very accessible. I guess I got a little mad at them because I'm bad at something. I need to see if it lets me hold the skill combo through them being attacked. Oh, I needed to start it. no, that interrupts me. Oh no, I'm not, they don't have enough health for this now. Well, put them out of their misery. Fuck it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Do we have to? I mean, I guess that was helpful. I did need to see if, like, there's two kinds of moves that I want to get better with dealing with. Okay, anyways. I need to do it on the 3 one, I guess. Come on. I think it did for his... No, it didn't. Fuck. Tits, brother. I'm so bad at this. If I were less bad. My brain just halted. Holy shit. I halted live on camera. I wish they didn't have full posture break at that moment. I needed them for something. Oh no, I messed it up. Well, fuck. See, I don't know if I can continue Onslaught through parrying. And I could just look this up on my phone for fuck's sake and be done, or on the computer, which is right in front of me, and be done like super quick. There's one more fight after this, I think. I don't know. Or we need to unlock a different fight with a different ending, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm a noob. I know how many slots it has left for stuff. Like, I know that it's got stuff for stuff. So I've been really bad constantly. I mean, so my parries aren't always great either, if not are outright terrible. But in addition to that, I'm just bad. Have 90. We'll manage. Oh, kind of had a weird thought. Like how I might want to just strafe out certain moves. Clearly not like that. So I'll just pick up a few things every so often. I'll find myself at the shop, and because there's an unlimited number of these I can purchase, and I feel like it's gonna take a while, I can usually afford 2 of these a run. Just really cozy. Or not 2 of these a run. If I break all the boxes, I can afford to get like at least 1. And if I collect the boxes just another time, I can get 2. So I generally keep a surplus running, enough so that I can drop the 1.5 without using any of them, so I'm accruing a collection. So we've been in this run about, like, it's my 10th try. No, 12th, I guess? 12th. I was using this to benchmark a Steam Deck. It does not run as well right now. It does run pretty okay. It's just, I tried undervolting it again a little more on the CPU side. And I know it doesn't like that very much. So I just did it anyway, being very shitheadery about it. Oof. Lucky I lived. Didn't deserve to live. Oops. Recovery window. Got hit during a recovery window, which shouldn't faze me, does actually stop me in my tracks a little bit. Shouldn't, does. Skill issue. Absolute skill. Another lingering potion. See, we just keep stacking lingering potions, and if all I'm doing is using 1 or 2 a run, and we're getting like 3 to 4, maybe more, especially when I clear out the whole area for nonsense, because free easy farm will take. There's a whole nother fight after this, and I will have surplus. I'm gonna dig my heels in. Just not now. I have to just get their timing down for now. I feel like I can block that, and I got caught during a recovery. And if I can block it, I can parry it. Mulch. 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 Lock on. Mulch. Auto mulch. Get through this phase if we can. Just cook their health bar. Just cook it, have time to recharge this, and get ready to mulch on phase 2. I need to mulch my way to phase 2-ish. I'm still bad at this, but I may as well keep on. I don't have enough ammo. I could have upgraded my ammo stores again, I think. And I didn't think to, which is bad move. Bad player, bad move. Eat knockdown bug? No, I guess not. Oh, that's the yellow glow. Collapse. I was trying something that I guess I misread the move. I'm gonna burn a pump. We've been saving them up. Shields? No. Balance. Upgrading mode is almost charged. All we have to do is be ready to dodge. That's not even the rough part. It's kinda that. Lol. I suck. That's okay. Hold on. Okay, cool beans. The ammo switch is really not a chore. I just make it harder than it needs to be. There's like free ammo galore right there. Here. This is the little route that I've been doing, not for naught. There's like nothing here, by the way. Like, there's nothing to worry about. It's just like the most mundane thing that is paying off with the most savings in healing economy that we're gonna get in a game ever. Like, that is epic. Because if I keep these in new game, like, it's just spoiling ourselves. It's like unnecessary junk, but we're gonna keep it. Bullets are free right now. And it's shooting practice. Also, don't forget that part. So more grenades, which we have a pulse grenades 150, smart mines 80, sonics are 91, and shock grenades are 54, the ones I use the most. Honestly, this shield one is about to be our favorite for a bit. But, I don't know. I like this game. It's pretty fucking fun. I don't know how much we have, but I bet it's enough. Oh yeah. WB pump. It's toasty to tune this match on the Steam Deck, because like, most of the arenas are small, and I can go into all the other ones, and I can play it out here. And the only thing that it's really working on hard is the open worldy part. And so I'm playing with different INI configurations to try to shore this out and pull off pretty consistent XESS. Which I'm not doing right now. Which actually does help the game. Oh shit me. I was having a nervous moment. That did not go over well. I was like all off in my head being a nervy. Shouldn't do that. It's not good for us. It's not very becoming. It's not a winning move. Oh, also, I forgot stuff. I forgot stream relevant shit. That's weird. I mean, it's not weird. I've been like kind of a shithead for the last couple days. There. It's lock us the fuck in and turn the game a bit up. That way, it's got like a shot in hell at overpowering me. Well, and my undeserving bitch ass winning. And then all I have to do is remember to use the fucking microphone when I talk. I don't know when I'm supposed to dodge that move yet. Like, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna brute force this into working, because I don't get this, and it's that first off, I'm bad at this part of the game, and that sucks. Like, honestly, if I could only fight it in, like, easy mode before I went against it without worrying that would corrupt my save, it would telegraph when I'm supposed to deal with that, and I would know definitively when it occurs. Otherwise, we're gonna suss it out. I'm fine with this. I don't want to corrupt my save with a mode change. I do like that we get 3-shot. I could take less damage and sustain 4 hits, but then we'd be doing less damage, like by 20%, and that's like not cool. It's not very cool. Hold on. Written hand, beta charge, beta, no. Where is it? Oh, no, we do have those. See, I like the crit stuff. It's really a win. Did we unlock something new? Only... Oh, which program just crashed? Oh, it's the game. It ran out of video memory. Weird. Oh, is it because I'm allocating like a fatal error? Don't report. Welp. That blows. Hold on. I'll deal with this. Give me a second. It's cool. I'm made of magic. What? I'm imagining the dead woman gives birth thing is someone had a complication during birth.
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and I wanted to just kind of...
I'm gonna get this fixed. Give me a second.
Talk about video games a little bit, okay? I have a lot of positivity, all right? So apparently Xbox just gave up.
How do I want to fix this?
And last night I saw that apparently the next Xbox is literally just going to be a PC. And to be real with you, this could be a negative point, but honestly, I think it's kind of cool. I think it's great. I've actually been...
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty down with this. Ever since the older ones, and it was effectively running desktop hardware, like I thought it was super sick. Now we're going to see a resurgence of that. And honestly, there's no reason to not. Like, being able to support this and get better touch and controller interface support on Windows Raw is like a step closer to just having a base thing that runs on all of them, and the more easy access we have as users to the console we're given. Yeah, no, I kind of like that. That sounds all right.
Talking about this whole situation for years now, okay? What Xbox should do. You know, at this point, just to let people use this thing as a PC, right? Like, let me split up the goddamn system in half, digitally, of course, and install Windows and just use it like a gaming PC, all right? I honestly think for the price tag right there, okay, this might be one of the best little, like, mid-range gaming computers you can buy, okay? That would be pretty goddamn cool. Now, obviously, this is the next Xbox, and there's been a lot of murmurs by, like, all these companies, like Sony is talking about that PlayStation 6, and, I just don't even know if, like, this generation of gaming was honestly that worth it. If it really feels like a fart in the wind, but let's just get all the positivity out of the way real quickly. Okay, let's focus on that right now, okay? I really want to, because there's a lot of good stuff to say. So obviously, one of the important things in this like minute 17 clip that was posted yesterday, there's like 2 things I want to dig out, 2 really important points. So first off, right here.
Okay. I'm relaunching the game with, I was going to say, more control over how it launches, but now it's not starting. Oof. Okay. I'm trying to fix the litany of broken on this computer really quickly. Okay, there we go. A portion of it's remedied. Remedied. Wait, what? Really? What the fuck? What the fuck? Really? Yo, that's wild. That is absolutely wild. Can't believe. Can't fucking leave. It's mental. Holy shit. I'm just reading.
You,
Shit's
an
wild.
Xbox experience, not locked to a single store or tied to one device.
Whoa, not tied to a single store? Now, one of the big things for like gaming consoles is like
they're trying to march in ever since Google Stadia kind of failed. Like, there's a big place for them there. They know they can have it. Why not? Seize it. Seize the day. Seize the night.
really just tied to one platform. Even for smartphones like the iPhone, it's like, as long as you can only use the app.
I started thinking about the Dark Brotherhood, but they don't have any seizing to do. They're just like a faction in Elder Scrolls.
App Store, Apple's happy. When you're on a PlayStation, the only place you can buy a game from is Sony. When you're on Nintendo, the only place you can buy from is, you guessed it, Nintendo. And Xbox, I guess, was roughly the same thing. Except until today, the next generation.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, like, if you want to keep your shit available. Also, Sony doesn't limit you. They let you do cloud play. I'm pretty sure you can get a subscription to Sony and you can play things over the browser or over another interface without owning yourself a Sony. I'm fairly certain this is the way. I've been looking into this because I care. And reasons involving those motherfuckers have kept their mitts on Bloodborne for too long. I demand access. Anywho's, I was looking at it, and I think they do have a service that like lets you effectively do that. I think all of the larger companies are realizing it's very viable, and with like very light use of basic models that are less computer intensive, you can have like better graphics quality at lower bit rates, and just better and that might be a big thing for them depending on like their workload. So, like it might be more manageable to have the extra computational power or decentralize it a bit and or like just deal with the extra like I guess GPU computational overhead of the fucking little tiny models. So whatever.
Of Xbox does not apparently lock you.
And they don't even have to use that. Like, I mean, in some way it is going to be there, either through the current like networking solutions that are offered in most DCs or otherwise, but like still
into one store.
Like there's no way they can avoid some degree of offload in that capacity.
There's been a lot of speculation that, whoa, does that mean they're going to let you install Steam on the next Xbox? Epic Games Launcher? Are they going to let you play with Ubisoft Connect, God forbid? I don't even know if that's entirely the case, and I don't even know how they would do that. What are they going to like have a Steam store that you can load onto your Xbox, open that up, and then it launches like the Steam OS? Does it launch like the Steam Deck interface and let you play around with your Steam games? Is that the possibility? Are they going to let you do that with Epic Games? Or is it like what I mentioned in the beginning? Are they just literally going to let you split the Xbox up and use Windows 11 straight on the box, okay? Just like a regular PC, which they absolutely could. I've talked about it in the past, and if that's the route Xbox wants to take, then I think it's actually not a bad idea, all right? Given the...
I had to crack open Ghidra today and diff like two... This was like an early today, like a 6 a.m. in the morning thing. This was wild. And like diff two different programs of different versions to see if there was like anything sketchy happening or if it was a false positive, as I kind of cursorily confirmed I wanted to validate this. That was fun. That was fun to do today.
The fact that Xbox systems really don't sell as well as like your PlayStations or your Nintendos. And I think Microsoft has kind of proven that you can basically buy every single game company under the sun as much as you legally can. But it's not really going to do a lot to drag people into your system if there's no reason to buy the system. Now, to be real with you, the question is, should you buy the next Xbox? And the honest answer to that is there a reason to buy an Xbox at this point?
No. Go run Linux, use Proton, play video game. Don't pay Microsoft. Don't have Walmart on your thing. HDR is working better. Let's see. A lot of things are working better. It's a nice time in Linux land, TBH. Bazite runs nicely if you want Fedora. I'm personally an Arch person usually, but I'll take it.
Because the reality is, like, I have not stopped playing games from Xbox. One of my favorite games, I think like this year, has probably been the Indiana Jones game that I played. I think it was probably one of the best games that I've actually played from Xbox. It was an amazing single player experience. And I played it all through Game Pass. You know, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, right? They remastered Oblivion. I thought that was a pretty fucking good time. You know what? I never installed that on my Xbox, never even bothered to waste my time there. You know, games like Starfield, I played entirely on the PC. So it's not that I don't play shit from Xbox. I think all of us kind of do, right? Depending on what your interest is. I played through Black Ops 6's campaign entirely on PC Game Pass.
So much like Xbox, everything is an Xbox, right? That's the marketing. This is an Xbox. This PSP is an Xbox. This
Yes.
car key fob is an
This
Xbox.
is totally
This iced
not
tea might be an
obnoxious.
Xbox.
Yeah, totally. This is totally fine. This isn't gonna upset me at all. This isn't gonna like overgeneralize something and make me upsetty spaghetti in an instant. Totally. Bet.
Thing
Thank
with,
you, bud.
I guess, silicon
Thanks, bud.
inside
Thanks,
it at
bud.
this point.
Thanks, bud.
Breast implants excluded, of course, can probably run.
No, breast implants are also Xboxes. I heard it here first. They are. I have proof. I know they are. Don't lie to me.
Xbox games, and I think that's really the route they want to take. Now, the other piece that I found really important in this is when they talked about like emulation or like at least preserving games.
That's why we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. The next generation of Xbox is coming to life, and this is just the beginning. We can't wait to show you what's next.
So that's a pretty important point. Windows is we're gonna make sure that's really the focus point, right? It's the first time I've been looking at Xbox and Windows is really mentioned like this. And one of the things that I always thought growing up when I heard Microsoft was associated with the Xbox is like, since the original Xbox, like, can I run Windows XP on the OG Xbox? Could I run Windows Vista on the 360?
It is fatal erroring. Can I launch this with the terminal?
Could I run Windows 10 or 11 on the current generation Xboxes? And you absolutely can, but I think this is kind of where like Microsoft's next focus point is just sort of unifying everything on the PC front and having like that PC console at your home, right? And I think that's really just the point they're hitting at. Now, obviously, when I think of like emulation and backwards compatibility, I think Xbox is probably like the best
Give me 1 second. I'm restarting my graphics driver really quick. I hope that didn't kill OBS. It shouldn't. Should be fine relatively. I think like I had a weird resource lock, so that should fix it.
Conservationist, console, just in terms of how far back you can go. Last night, I loaded up my Xbox One, and it's funny, I looked at all the games that I had installed, and barely any of them were actually current Xbox Series games. I actually was able to play a lot of my old, like, Splinter Cell games underneath the Xbox's, like, emulation, pretty much out of the box. Like, the coziest, simplest way for me to play some of these old 20-year-old classics was just sticking the disc into my actual Xbox Series and just playing them through that. And that, I think, is probably the one cool thing that Microsoft really does that none of the other console guys really give a shit about. Like, could you go all the way back and play like PS1, 2, 3 games with your actual discs on a PlayStation 5? You absolutely can't. You probably have to go through the steps of paying for a subscription to get access to them or just buying them individually on the storefront, which I think in that regard...
I mean, Nintendo does want you to pay for access to Cloud Play them. Is it Cloud Play currently?
Microsoft does a pretty good job. There's even a lot of delisted games like Pandora Tomorrow that you
I hope I said Nintendo. Nintendo's the company I meant to mention if I didn't.
Just stick your disc in and download an emulated version within like a matter of minutes. And I think that's some cool shit. Now, when I think about this gaming generation, I wonder do we really even need to talk about the next generation Xbox or the PlayStation 6? I really feel like this generation of gaming is like the biggest...
Like, I'm really wondering if it'll be worth it. Like, I'm wondering when gaming consoles will plateau at a point where kind of gaming computers are, where you don't really need new hardware if you have reasonably recent hardware. Not reasonably recent, that's an inappropriate way to say it. If you have like close to recent hardware, like you shouldn't need to update your shit for a while. Are we gonna get to there with consoles, or are they gonna keep y'all like chilling? And with Microsoft putting a full-on out computer in here, are they gonna use like a reasonable chipset? Or are they gonna chip just Windows again? I kind of forgot. If so, can you upgrade your hardware? Can you apply a better power supply? Can you, for instance, have, oh, I don't know, more vroom? I'm curious. I'm hopeful. Like, this could be good. This could be
gaming
great.
generation. Typically when you go from like PS1 to PS2,
this could honestly be amazing.
It really felt like, bro, the mouths are moving, the game worlds feel livelier, the open worlds are much more open and livelier, right? When you went from the PS2 to the PS3, you really did feel like, okay, the high definition is really showing. And in some cases, there are games like, I would say, Metal Gear Solid 4 that have held up the test of time. You could crank that shit in a PC emulator, rock that up to 4K, and it would still look like a game released right now. You know, when you went from PS3 to PS4, there was a lot of games that were focusing on that open world, and they implemented gameplay like systems, like the Nemesis system from like the Shadow of Mordor games, or just the worlds were so big that in order to even port them back, you'd have to make pretty much different versions of the game, as you had to do back in the PS2 and Xbox generation, right? Where like Xbox would get like a real Splinter Cell game, and then the PS2 and game.
Ooh. We were supposed to get a Splinter Cell movie, you know? You know what we never got? A Splinter Cell movie.
You would usually get like a fucking neutered version because there were so much technical differences between that stuff. It really feels like with PS5, the only real like game that comes to my mind that really wasn't exclusive is probably like Demon Souls. Not to say that there aren't other PS5 exclusives, but it feels like going into this generation, a lot of these games could have just easily been made on the PlayStation 4, and in some cases they have. If you don't remember, Jedi Survivor dropped on like, what, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and it was, you know...
I'm possibly gonna accidentally kill graphics processing